been a while. It's been a while. Let's see if this starts up all right. Looks like it's so. I can see some people coming on now. Hello, James. Oh, that's working. That's a good sign. How's it going, James? Evening all. It's been a while. The Ashby here, Motocross and Speedway memories. I think it's been about 4 or 5 months. I think it's been now since I last did the Jeff Emig American legend. I'm just gonna. I don't know if Lainey's watching this yet, but hopefully she'll put the link in there to help the people that whoever that is. Hello, but see, I can't see your profile. Hello, mother. Hello, Sean. How's it going? Yo, buddy. Hello, Jimmy. All okay, thank you, mate. Hello, Callum. So yeah, basically with the Facebook thing, before you come into this video, so you can just come out of this video now, click on the link in the post, and it basically gives your Facebook permission to use your profile. So then I can actually see who I'm speaking to, which is always good when you're quoting your questions to the riders. Ah, brilliant. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate that. Thank you, mate. And there you go. I think my missus has put the link in the comments as well, so hopefully a lot of you can click on that. Hello, David. I will bring that up, David, when I bring him in a minute. Just going to do a few words and stuff. To anyone that's interested, I've still got the competition going for Jamie Dobb, still the last British World Champion in motocross, 125cc champion in 2001. That's his race shirt from that year, Fox shirt, signed on the back by him. And I've got about half the numbers left. I think doing 60 numbers total, got 30 left. So anyone's interested in that, contact me. Not sure who that is, but hello. Click on this link in the comments if you can, and then it'll give you permission for your so you can see who I'm talking to. Yo, Johnny Shales, how's it going? I'm not sure who that is either. So if you click that link, you can either come out the video, click on the post before you come in the video, and it gives your profile permission to use it, so I can see your name. Not sure who that is. So you can try it as well. Hello, Frank. Been talking to Frank a little bit in the messages, and I've got a picture of his. He's got some Kevlars or levers, as we want to call them, from Jano. So we'll bring that up later. See, look, Rob's sorted his profile out. Hi, Rob. Not sure who that is, but hello. I've just been saying to a few people, you can click on this link that my missus has put in here somewhere. Where is it? It's gone now. If you click on that, it gives your Facebook profile permission. Oh, it's complicated. You know, all this privacy stuff and all that these days. Because obviously, first thing people do is just click straight on the video, come in, and then they can't see who you're talking to like that. So it's a bit of a bummer. So if it's right, it should look like that with your profile. So you can either click out of here, click on the link in the post, or click on the link that my missus has put in the comments somewhere. And then hopefully, there you go. Sophie, how's it going? Hope you're good. So Sophie's is all right. Look, I can see her profile, but like the next one, look, hi, whoever that is, but I can't see it. So click on that link that my missus has put up, or just flip out of this video and then click on the link in the post before you come in the video, and you can do it that way. Right, enough of the chit chat. Let's get the man in, innit? In it. Right, I've got pictures loaded up on here that we can show Yano. I've got 40 questions in front of me, just in case none of you guys want to say anything and you just want to watch. But obviously, if you've got any questions that I've already got written down, then I'll always ask yours first, if I can. Not sure what that is. Hopefully they'll click on the link in the comments that my missus has put, whoever that is, and it'll give your profile permission, or just come out of this video quick, click on the link in the post, and then come back in. Hi, Tony. Yours is all working away. Mr. Hobbs. I'll give you 30 minutes before Corrie starts. Click on the record button, Andy. Catch up and all that. Hope you're good, buddy. How is all the knee and all that? Is that all good now? Looks like everyone else is sorted now. Look, Tony's got his profile going well. Hello, Andy. Beautiful. Also, just to let you Speedway fans know while you're online, I've just been testing this link with Dougie Wire as well. So, and he's still even racing today. Well, not racing, sorry, riding, should I say. And he's 75. Skipping. And hi, Wesley. Hope you're good, buddy. Looks like Lucas's is working as well. So a lot of you now are getting this sorted. Still not sure who that is. Yo, Mr. Pryor, how's it going? So it looks like we've got quite a few in here, so that's all good. So what I'll do now is send my yeah, Dougie Wire. My mum knows all that heresy. So yeah, doing Dougie Wire this Wednesday night, probably looking 7 p.m. And I've got a Motocross one with Russ Jarman tomorrow night at 7 as well. So we're going for 5 months out to 3 nights on the bounce. So we're going to get going with 2 or 3 a week. Hello, Attilia. How's it going? There he is, my man from Hungary. Check out that there. We're everywhere. I am quite hungry actually because I've not had my tea. Poor joke, I know. Sorry about that. Stefani's a man. You should check out some of his races online. I'm sure quite a few people went to Telford. Hi, Stuart. How's it going? Hopefully coming down to Oxford to watch the that friendly meeting at the start of the season with Swindon. It's going to be quite good. Not sure that is, but hello. My missus has posted a link somewhere in the comments. If you click on it, hopefully it'll give your profile permission to see your name and everything. So hopefully you all do that. Any of you else have commented and said hi, and I can't see it, just pop out of here, click on the link, come back in, or click on my missus' post, wherever she's put it. There it is. Click on that, it gives your profile permission. Right, I'm going to send the email to Yano. Hopefully it gets there. That would be good. I'm going to check that it's going. I did tell him 9:05, and I've sent it at 9 minutes past 9. And he's just texted me. Probably thinking, right, okay, so I've just told Yana, he just said, I need the link. It would help, wouldn't it? Would help him quite a bit if he had the link. Right, so we're good with that. So I'm just double checking that that's sent. So the email's sent off of that. Right, beautiful. So hopefully Yano will come up in the bottom of my screen in a minute and we'll be good to go. No, whoever that is, no. Am I in now? Whoever that is, no. Yes, Sophie. You all going down? You're on, James. You're all good. You're in, buddy. How's it going? Hey, Simon. Yes, mate. That's what the plan is. I think my missus even wants to come down to that one. So that'd be good. Hi. Thank you very much. I'm not sure who that is. Hopefully you can get your profile up. My missus has commented in the comments somewhere, or you can just pop out of here, click on the link in the post, and then come back in. It just gives you permission. Not sure who that is, but hopefully they can sort that too. I can see all you guys have been trying to say. I can see you, Yano. I'm just going to do the promo video, and then we'll get you in. So the man's here. Oh, Simon Cross is in here, look. Hiya, mate. I'm out at barbecue just checking in. We can't hear you yet, Jano, until I bring you in the screen, but you can hear us. Right then, so the man is here. So let's get the promo video going, and then we will get it away. So it looks like some riders have been coming on and everything already. So brilliant. Here we go then. Let's get this going. It's been a while. Great to be back. Right. Let's hopefully it's going to work. I'm going to bring him in then. Jano,
Yes,
can you hear me? All good.
I can hear you now.
Beautiful, beautiful. How's it going?
Good, good. You know,
Much appreciated for doing this, buddy.
oh, anytime. Anytime is fun to actually doing something like from the old days, really. To
Like
do with the
good.
old
There's
days.
nothing like a good reminisce, Jano. That's for sure.
No, no. I'm just sitting here watching. I've just had a system so I can transfer all my VHS to PC. I'm gonna put them back on
Ah,
my YouTube channel, all the old Speedway stuff.
oh,
So
yes, yes,
just
please.
watched the great stuff here today. So
I
over the
bet.
next few days, I'm gonna put onto the PC and then I'm gonna put onto the YouTube channel.
Cool. Look, there's some. Yeah, that'll be brilliant. So if anyone that's on, look, we can all check that out. I'm definitely going to check that out. Now you've said that.
Yeah,
That'd be
I'll send
awesome.
you a
That'd be
link.
awesome.
I'll send
Yes.
you a link. You can put it out.
I'll post it
Yeah,
out. Yeah, I'll put it all in my group and
yeah,
everything. Yeah, that'd be spot on. We'll
good.
do that. No problem.
Hmm?
See people already diving in with loads of memories and stuff here. He's got Jimmy here on YouTube. Just put evening, Jano. I was wondering if you ever opened my old primary school summer fair at Horbush Primary. I know a few crazy riders opened it as my dad worked on the fourth bend at Dudley Wood.
I'm sure I have because I did quite a few of because I lived locally. So I did a lot of the school stuff back in the day.
Ah, I see. Look, he's already subscribed to the channel as well.
Fantastic.
Loads of nice comments coming up. These guys are not registered their profile, so I can't see who it is, but he's put God of the 80s Speedway.
Thank you.
I've got lots of
amazing.
a few pictures to show you as well, but what I'll do is I'll get some of my questions going. So what have you been up to then, Jano, lately?
Well, lately, after all the pandemic and everything else, I was trying to figure out what to do. Last year, I closed the food business down, and so I was concentrating on trying to get back in Speedway, and I've managed to secure 2 contracts this year. One with Vissenbjerg, it's a racetrack here that I have to do a little bit of training for, but the most exciting thing is that I'm going to start training a young lad. I think I'm not sure whether he's 15 yet, Jakob Jensen. So we just made a contract, and it got. When did we do it? We publicized it on last Thursday. So that's what I'm going to do this year. Plus, I'm doing a few talkings, traveling around and doing a few, telling about my life and what I've been doing. And so that's really what I'm enjoying to do. So I'm going to do, I'm back in Speedway, basically.
That's brilliant, mate. You must be pretty excited about that then.
Oh, fantastic. I'm absolutely looking forward to it.
Brilliant,
actually coming back and teaching young kids what they should do and how they should do it. And this young lad that I'm going to concentrate on, he's could be an up and coming. He's just starting on the new 500R, which is a 500, but instead of using a 250, they're using a 500 and with a sleeve in. It runs about 20 horsepower lower than a normal 500. But it's just like a 500. Yeah, it's easier to ride, but it's a lot cheaper.
Right, so that's a good thing.
It'll do 4 or 5 times as many heats before it has to have a rebuild than a normal 500.
Good. I see. So good.
That's fantastic.
Right, I'm just going to say to the guys that are on it, because quite a few I've noticed, because I like to comment who the people are that are asking questions, just to let you guys know, as a hello and greetings from Denmark there, look, it just says Facebook user. Just to let you guys know, my missus at the start of these comments has put a link in there. If you click on that, give your profile permission, then I can see your name and profile, or you can just pop out of this video, go into the post, click on the link. It's just a privacy thing, and it lets you see, like Barney Kennett there, look. He's put, hi, Jano and Lee. He's in Australia at the moment. I've seen him on Facebook.
Really?
Get his selfies in. Yeah,
I'm not
really.
jealous.
I know. I am. It's freezing in the UK at the moment.
Well, it's not warm here either, so
No, I bet.
I'd love to be there.
Yeah. He's teasing us all as well. He keeps putting up all the selfies everywhere with all, the sun and the sea and the sand and all
Oh,
that.
God,
Yeah.
that's terrible. He must have such a hard life out there.
Yeah. You enjoy, Barney.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on,
We,
buddy. Hope you're good.
we,
Right, I've got Alan Whitworth here. He's put, great to see you, Jano. Had great pleasure becoming a friend when you first moved over here to live with Wes and Valma,
oh,
and got to work with you on your bikes.
yes. Hello, Andy. Great to see you. Oh, well, again, yes, he was a big part of when I lived at Wes and Valma's when I first came to the UK. He was basically a young kid at the time, and he was always there.
Right, I see. I've also got Gary O'Hare. Just put hello, Jano. Nice to see you.
Hi, Gary. Lovely
We'll have
to
to get
see
you.
you.
Yeah, we'll have to get you on here, Gary, as well. Have to get you on a live. I'm not sure this is Jano. They've not registered their profile, but you might know. Are you still playing badminton, Jan? I played you a few times at Hayden Hill, so I don't know if that gives you a clue who that is.
Yes, it does. Well, there was a few of us who played at Hayden Hill badminton. No, I've just tried this new paddle tennis, whatever it's called, which is quite good fun, actually. Yeah. I've just done that, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. So
I was
trying to keep.
I was going to talk about this. Jimmy's just put, who's teaching in the gating skills to them?
Well, see, the thing is, I'm quite good at teaching them because I had to do quite a lot of practice with it. So yes, I can understand the question, but at least I don't have to do it. I can just tell them what to do.
I think you just did it just to entertain us all, anyway.
Well, yeah.
I
wish so, but yeah, it worked. Yes, it did. Yeah.
You was amazing. One of the best passes I've ever seen, for sure. And give everyone exciting racing. But I'm sure you would have liked it easier at times with a few more gates.
Well, as I said, it was great to do the Crady and everything else and coming from the back, but the World Championship would have been easier. But then again, in '91, I showed them how to do it.
Here he goes. We've got Simon Cross. Yes, you did. We'll talk about that as well, by the way. He's put, hope you are well. How's your dog?
We have 2 dogs, and they are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know which one, Simon. I've got 2.
Yeah, which one? I've seen the pictures. I've seen the pictures on your profile. I think you.
I've got
walking and stuff like that with them.
Sia is a Maltese, which is the young one, the little one, and then we got Oscar, the big one, the Westie. So they're a big part of our life. But beautiful. I think they sleep in the bed with my wife.
Oh, they're all comfortable. They're comfortable.
Oh God, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like family, aren't they? The old pets.
Oh,
as well,
yeah.
So. Right, I've got Lawrence Hare's on as well. Lawrence Hare, hi Lee, top man, best leg trailer of all time.
Yes, I did do quite a few of that. I've just seen the long track I did at Marianne Skalanska in '91, and that was a lot of leg trailing there.
Yeah. Flat out, leg back.
Absolutely flat out, and the leg as far back as I could get it. Yeah.
Because I remember Lawrence doing a few hairy ones around the old Exeter, using the steel safety fence as a berm, like motocross.
Well, yes. There was not much give in that. It's the young ones or the ones who race, they don't know how lucky they are. They have like a bouncing castle to run into. We had a steel fence.
They do, yes. Jano, do you think, actually, talking about fences, because I remember, like, from my dad's day in even like earlier, like 60s and 70s, like, a lot of riders were dying and, serious accidents, obviously. Do you think that makes the riders in sort of like the back of the head, they sort of take more risks because of the air fences?
Well, you can see that easily because, I mean, on a normal fence, you wouldn't run as close to it or as they do now. I mean, they run right to the edge, and we kept a little bit of a distance because we knew it was going to hurt if you hit it. So yes, they do take more chances now when you watch them, but it's the way the racing is. The only problem they have is it's not so much when they hit the fence, it's if they hit the ground before they hit the fence. That's when they get hurt.
Sort of tend
But
to go under it and stuff like that in a little bit, don't
yeah,
they? Maybe
yeah.
sometimes.
But as long as they hit the fence first and they can
Mm,
sort of bounce back, then
yeah.
you still see bad accidents today.
Mm, do.
I'm not sure whether we had more or less. I don't know. I haven't seen any statistics, but they do take more chances because of the fence.
Mm, yeah, they seem to be doing that for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And Simon, by the way, said the white one.
Thanks, Simon. They're both white.
That
Cheers,
narrows
Simon.
it down. That sounds
Yeah,
about
it
right.
does. Yeah.
Oh,
That's
we've
why
got
he's
a.
saying it.
Yeah, all right. He's just being funny. That's
Yeah, he's just being funny.
another legend's just come on. I've been trying to get his interview as well, so hopefully we'll sort it
Armando.
out. He's put, "Ciao Lee, hope you're well. Send my regards to Jan and tell him that I have a lot of respect for him, but that he pissed me off many times when he used to pass me most of the time on the track."
Well, thanks, Armando. Lovely to hear from you. I miss you too. No, Amanda was a fantastic. Yes, I know I did pass him probably more than he passed me, but he was a great rider and always loved to chat to him because same as Simon Cross. I think compared to Speedway nowadays, I think back then, even though we were rivals, we still had a lot of respect for each other.
Yeah,
And kind of when we were away from Speedway, we were quite good friends actually.
I've got a question about that as well a bit. I got James Young here. He's put, "Evening, Yano.
Oh, yes.
I'm a Sheffield Speedway supporter, and I have been now for 22 years. I was speaking to my old boss, who was headmaster at the school, about Speedway, and he said he knew you well. His name was Richard Woods. Massive fan of yours. Great news to have a legend like yourself back in the sport and helping the next generation."
Yeah. Well, lovely to hear that. I mean, as I said, I enjoyed Sheffield so much. My second year in the UK, thrown in at the deep end. I thought I was going to race at Birmingham, then suddenly I was at Sheffield with the Moran brothers, and the supporters up there just took a really great liking to me. And I enjoyed racing at Sheffield. Great track, really good racetrack as well. And with the team and that, it was an amazing year for me. And I think I learned a lot from being there, and not just being in the comfortable from Gradley. So I appreciate all the supporters that they still remember me.
Yeah, and I was reading up, and it sort of said that I think Sheffield wanted, because I think you went there on loan, didn't you? Something to do with the
Yes, I did.
Aberdeen,
Yeah,
I'm sure it was.
yeah,
And they
yeah,
wanted to buy you, but obviously Cradley said no, and you obviously went back, and the rest was
yeah,
history.
yeah,
There's another one now, I think. Start
yeah.
there.
On the old Westlake, yeah.
Ah, beautiful.
It was, yeah. But no, as I said, no, it was an amazing time there,
Yeah.
and it was just something that taught me a lot, and I think helped me throughout my career. That being there, and I said being with the Morans and everybody else who was there at the time, and the management. But again, the supporters there really, I enjoyed it so much. And every time I went back there racing against Sheffield, it was always a fantastic time.
Brilliant. And Simon's just put, "Top man, great team, rider and teammate. Nice to see you doing well. Love and leave you. Got to go and eat."
Well,
He's having
say
a
hello to
barbecue.
you. Say hello to your family, Simon. Love to meet you again soon.
Yes.
So no, I mean Simon and me, we had such a close friendship because we grew up in Cradley, and all throughout our careers we were there racing each other, and became really good friends. We've done a lot of stuff together, really have.
I've got Dave right here. Has just put, "Do you still do a few laps?"
No, I don't. I did. Well, was that 10 years ago? I did a little bit.
Yeah, I remember that. I
Tried to
think I've
get
got.
back in, and yeah, did the Cradley thing and a couple of meetings, but the body's just not there anymore. And now I've got a wrist that I have to have some replacement parts put in,
Okay.
so it doesn't work very well anymore.
Oh,
So
right.
I can't. I would love to do it. I mean, you could still sort of run around, but I
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
race.
yeah. Yeah,
And the
I get
problem
what you're
is,
saying.
once we get on the track, we think we're 18 again. We don't understand that we are. Well, I'm 60 now. We don't get that. Our
No.
bodies are 60, but our mind isn't.
Yes, we want to do it. You're right. Yeah.
Oh yes,
Oh
definitely.
yeah. We still don't lose that competitive thing that you want
No,
to do it
no,
before.
you don't. No,
No,
no.
no, never. I did have this question, but looks like a fan said it, so get it out now. I'm a Swindon fan, and my dad and my uncle both rode for Swindon Robins, so this is where my question come from. That he's put
Yeah.
fantastic rider was Yano. How did you rate Blunsdon Swindon track?
Well, it was a racetrack, and I always enjoyed racetracks.
Okay.
And I mean, it's always good and bad, but it had the right shape, it had the right banking, and I said I've had some fantastic races there. So no, I enjoyed racing at Blunsdon. I really did.
Yeah, I remember watching you as a
Mm,
teenager there and doing the same thing to passing everyone as well.
yeah.
Brilliant, because you could get your wheels in line, like you said, off the banking and cut
Yeah,
back
you
or
could,
whatever.
and you could run out and then come back on yourself, and you can make such a long straight. And even though I had a engine blew up down the back straight, and the conrod knocked our little ignition box off, and it flew. You could see the red. Apparently, somebody was talking. You could see the red light flying through the air as it just launched itself.
Oh my
So,
god. All right, I got Simon Wharton here. He did send me the picture earlier, so I'm going to show you it as well. He's put, "Hi Yano, still got the Westlake I had off you from lodging in Swindon. Thanks for the advice at Stoke. Legend." So just going to try and
you're welcome. I'm glad I could give you some good advice. I really am. I enjoy that. Yes. Oh yeah,
let's get the comment out of the way, and then you can see it.
that brings
There you go.
back memories. That does. Oh,
Looking nice
amazing.
as well, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. It really is. Yeah. I've
It
just
really is.
spoke to a chap the other day when it was launched, and he's
Yeah.
got an old PPT
Ah, I
which
see.
I ran in '86.
Yes. So nice to see some of the.
Yeah.
There's lots of even groups out there on social medias with upright groups and things like that. Like
I'm
keeping
just
away from
building my an old upright again with the low
Oh
frame.
yeah.
One of
Oh
my
yeah.
old ones. Yeah, yeah. I'm just going to strip the lay down, and then I've got a complete frame set up with upright, original from when I raced. Yeah.
Well, that'd be nice. Love to see that. Hopefully, get pictures off of that.
I will.
Garage just put, Jan, do you remember letting me test your bikes for you at Stoke Training School in 1984 while you were recovering from a broken arm? Fastest Westlakes
Yes.
I've ever ridden.
Yes, I do.
Nice.
I do, Gary.
That's nice. Nice memory that is.
It
Got
is.
Sophie here. I've got Sophie here. If you could give riders of today's generation one bit of advice before a race day, what would it be? Now Swindon is closed. I go to Oxford with my Speedway journalist partner, Robin Allen. Hope Robin's good, who also says hello.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to give them some advice, if it's sort of a general advice, is take the sport serious. Plus, the other fact is you have to. It's one thing I learned cradely at Sheffield is you've got to respect the fans. You've got to always take time to talk to them, because without them, we wouldn't be professionals, and we couldn't do the racing that we love to do. Yes, it's hard to give advice to, because different riders is going to have different advice, and that's what I'm doing, is looking at a rider and seeing what's the next thing he's going to learn. And I think now I'm the age I am, I think I'm good at giving that sort of advice. And the other thing is that they've got to learn is they've got to be mentally prepared. And you have to be mentally prepared before the race, not when you're in the racing situation. It's one of the things I learned fairly early on in my career, and I still use it to this day.
Preparation.
So that's really important.
Love it. There you go, Sophie. Talking about, she's just mentioned there Oxford, and Swindon are going there for a sort of a friendly match to start the season off. Obviously, we saw Oxford reopened last year. That was amazing. It looks really good. Got to meet Hans there as well, which is awesome. After this interview, got to meet him there on the opening thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, you had a time down there, and I think Andrew Meredith here has just brought it up. Look, hope you're well, mate. We had a great
Yeah.
time as Oxford when you was team manager. So what was that
Yes, I
like
did.
when you did that, Jano?
It was different, to be honest. Being team manager, I love coaching, and team manager is okay if you can, if you have some rules that allows you to do changes and things like that. Then it's great fun to do. And I enjoyed that year because again, it was part of my recovery. Getting back, doing something. So being part of a team, it kind of built you confidence up again, really.
Yeah.
When you suddenly can't race and you're standing out there in the cold, and what are you supposed to do? So when people ask you to do stuff like that, I appreciate it very much because it helped me to move on.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, a bit of therapy as well.
Yeah, it is.
Frank Sorensen here, another good guy. I think you know him well. He's had a few bits of you. He's just about to show you some levers that he sent me earlier. He's put, what was your favorite? What was your favorite track in Denmark and outside of Denmark?
Well, there's in Denmark, possibly Vojens. I mean, I enjoyed Fjeldsted because it was my home track, but I think at the time I had some great meetings at Vojens. And then when they built Holsted, again, a nice one, but probably Vojens, I would say. Outside, the best track I've ridden on, I only rode on it once. That was Long Beach. Long Beach, California. That
World
racetrack in
final,
88, 88 World Team Cup year. That track was amazing. A proper racing track. It was a big one, but I really enjoyed Cradley. And I also Kings Lynn is another good racetrack. But I gotta say Cradley because I did so many laps there and I so enjoyed racing there. Really did. So
amazing atmospheres and all that there, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was.
Special place. So like that Long Beach thing, wasn't that? I'm sure that was a World Team Cup. Was it?
Yeah,
World Team Cup. I don't know if you saw the coverage. I saw some the other day, not long ago. It was on Facebook and it showed you the practice day, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Now I've got on the channel. I've got the video from the meeting.
Have you?
And it was you got to because that was an amazing day. It really was because proper racetrack. But it was huge. I think it was 400 meters or something like that.
Massive,
but really banked and
I love that.
Enjoyable.
Yeah, you get stuck in with that one. Right, I've got use that here. I just missed one out that I'm going to go back to. Right, here we go. Where am I there? Right, what tracks in the UK were your worst to ride? Interesting.
The worst one, possibly Eastbourne, I guess. I had a few ups and downs with Wolverhampton, but I got the hang of it. But probably Eastbourne. We didn't do that much racing there, and it was so small. So I think once you crack the code for it, so possibly.
Did you? That was obviously fairly trick track Eastbourne. And what about? Did you race Arena Essex? Did you race that?
No, I've never raced at Arena.
No. Right, okay, because it didn't go to the top league till later on.
No,
become Lakeside.
Yeah, so because it was back then you couldn't. No, I don't think I raced there.
I think they were in the lower league at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't race in the second division. You couldn't.
No, exactly.
Really, it was banned back then. So no, I don't think I did. No. And then again, I can't remember whether they came into the league or not. I remember being there, so I must have raced there, but I don't remember it.
And then I've got John Westwood's just put, what were your memories of Dudley Wolves Trophy other than costing you world final appearance in 1990?
Well, it wasn't the Dudley Wolves Trophy's fault. It was just one of these accidents that happens when you race. and me who likes to race, it's hard not to race. So yes, it did cost me back in 1989. It cost me the world final appearance, and not in the 1989 when I was supposed to go to Munich.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but then again, I re-broke the arm in the same place in 90, just before the world final at Bradford, and the Bradford track that day was amazing. I was heartbroken that day because it was a track that would have suited me. It's hard to say whether you would have won or not, but the circumstances were right for me.
Yeah, definitely would have fancied that with the banking again and a races track and all that. Yeah, perfect.
Again, because Bradford you could race on again.
Definitely.
So
some good races there.
Mm.
Andrew's put, hi Jan, were your Cradley Heath versus Wolves meeting your favourite ones?
No, because they was always done on a Monday morning, and I hated running on a Monday morning. I really hated it. I mean, to get up and race at 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, 11 a.m. or something like that. Yeah.
No, I didn't like them. I had some good meetings. It was nothing to do with that. It was just the Monday morning ones, and Wolverhamptons were usually Monday morning. So
bank holidays and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I didn't like them Monday mornings.
Brilliant. We've got Stuart here and Adele Baker. Jano, remember when you won the 14 tournament at Peterborough? I think it was 1994 with you as team manager, with Martin Goodwin coming in as reserve, winning heats to win us the meeting, Bert riding over the white line.
Yeah, I remember it. Again, team manager, and it was as a kid that I did go to Peterborough because what's his name rode there, and he lived with me. Ronnie Peterson.
Yeah.
Nicky's brother. He stayed with
Nicky's
me,
brother,
and he raced at Peterborough. So I did get to go there quite a few meetings, not to race but to watch.
Did you like Peterborough as well?
Never raced there, but it looks to be a good racetrack.
I think they were in the lower league around when you was doing that, when you were racing in the UK as well, weren't they?
Yeah. Because there was I suppose 10, 11 who was always in the Premier League, whatever, First Division, whatever you call it, British League. And then there was a few of them who came up, like Berwick, Exeter came up. There's a few who were sort of up and down.
I remember Wiggy and Laurent. I remember,
Yeah. So it was. So you didn't get to race them because we didn't do any. Because I think it wasn't allowed to do open meetings from one league to the other league. So it's just how it was back then.
What did you think of? I think you got to. What did you think of the Exeter? Obviously, everyone was. I remember a lot of the riders was quite scared to go there and sort of went around the white line, as it were. But obviously, it was good for the home riders.
Yes, I mean, it was. It was different. I think I got to race there 2 or 3 times, and of course, steel fence. But once you get out racing, you don't really think about it. But I remember it being really, really bumpy. That's the one thing and it wasn't just bumpy in the corners, down the straight.
Yeah, wavy.
I remember. Oh, so wavy. You're trying to pull tear-offs down the straight, and you as soon as you let your hand go, the bike went, and God, that was hard. So that's kind of my memory of it. Yeah.
Not great.
No,
it wasn't the smoothest of places, that's for sure. Yeah. Right, I've got AD here. Said I saw Jano at Voyen's 1989 as a 9-year-old British lad starting grass track, looking to start Speedway, an inspiration to me. That's a nice one.
Thank you. I'm
nice.
Glad. I hope you enjoyed the meeting.
Got Robert here as well. Great to see Jano. Spent many years watching him around Dudley Wood. Thanks for the brilliant night of racing. So you obviously got good memories, all these guys.
Yeah, I've got a good
memories
really nice.
Too. There we go. So, I was going to ask this question as well. So that's a good one, Lawrence. Jan, what was the story behind, I think, the world final bike with the lightweight real spoiler made out of fabric, etc. And wasn't that when you had what were they called? Were they Kevlars then? What were they then? I can't
No,
remember.
they weren't Kevlars back then. No,
Levers,
it
like,
was. It wasn't even for. I don't think it was that for that World Final. I think it was a GTS who made them. We had them for a little while, but they didn't last that long. It was fun to do, but they weren't actually lighter than the normal one.
weren't they?
No, they weren't.
Oh, right,
and
okay.
I don't remember why, but I remember racing them. But I think it was just to see if it worked or not, and it was okay. But we went back to the normal spoilers. But I think it was maybe the year before we raced them.
Did you ever try them? I see that. I remember vividly Hans Nielsen trying one of them front wheel spoilers, but
no, I never tried.
They
that,
didn't.
No,
No, they didn't last very long. I think the dirt was catching them. I think in the corners, and it's sort of almost taking the front wheel away.
I think it's when you when it's lift and you turn the steering wheel. I think the wind can catch it. It might have looked good, but I never tried them, so I can't say what if it did anything or not. I've seen them, but I never tried it. No.
Yeah. So like I just remember you having these special levers made for the World Final that you won, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did.
91. So
91,
what were they like? And what were they made of then?
Leather, but it was a thin leather. Yeah, because back then you used to have I'm trying to think, 1.2 millimeter thick leather, where the one I had made, I think, was 0.8 of a millimeter. Wow. Very lightweight. Yeah, very lightweight, very comfortable to wear.
Yeah. Is that the same way round though? If you was to come off and slide along, are they not too good for that type of thing?
Well, I think they would protect well enough, but they wouldn't last very long.
No,
I mean, if you did fall off, it wouldn't. Yeah, it would probably wouldn't take much beating, let's say it that way. Plus, again, because we did all the washing back then, as soon as it got that thin, it was difficult to deal with because you couldn't just throw them in the washer like they do nowadays. But so it was just for that one meeting, nothing else. It was because I was sponsored by GTS, and it was a pair that he made for me. He made all the body colors as well, so the body color was sewn into the leather as well. And I've still got it. It's still hanging out here.
Awesome. I was just about to say, have you still got it? I was just literally going to ask that.
Nice. Yeah, I've got it. It's out here. I can fetch it if you want me to. It's just outside.
Yeah, you should try and do that in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that in a minute. Yeah.
Stevens just put Gothenburg 1991. I was there, and Jano was so fast that day. Fast from the gate with perfect clutch, and this was not so usual for Jano. How can he explain that, all things going that well on the night? Cheers, Jano.
Well, there were different things for that day. To lead up to it, I think it started in '88 when I started doing the low frames. That was one part of it because I had an issue. As soon as I let the clutch out, it lifted. Okay. So part of trying to solve that was making a smaller bike, put my seat forward, and making a long subframe, the rear frame, so get the back wheel a little bit further backwards. Yeah. And then in the process, I had to start to learn to race that, but it did help my starts. And it was something that went on, but then I had the injuries as well. So for 91 World Final, I did so much preparation. I had some amazing engines from Otto Weiss, but we didn't do anything specific for the World Championship. It was the same bikes I rode all year. All the equipment was the same. It was fresh, but it was all the same. But my mindset for that World Final was completely different. I lived out in the country in a house that I borrowed. That's where we did all the bikes and everything else. Plus, the fact is, we had all the issue on the night with the silencers. I don't know if you remember, there was loads of issue with everybody wanted to use the King. Oh, my wife is coming with my leathers. Hang on a sec.
Oh, right, brilliant.
Yeah, just to see that they're still here.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and they still haven't been washed. They're still
Haven't they?
the same as I took them off that night. It's never been
Wow.
touched since, never been raced with since.
Look at that,
So
number
just
15.
do a little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for that. Yeah, thank your
Oh,
wife
you're
as well.
welcome.
Thank
Yeah,
you very
I
much.
will. So as I said, it was my mindset going into that was different because I've missed 2 years with injuries just before. So I was so ready for that world final. I mean, I made all the changes coming up. I did all my psychologically training. This started 87, 88. So I think all them things combined, plus the fact is when we had all them people had the issue with the sound, as soon as we heard on the practice, I did one practice with the King silencer, but then we heard they were going to be strict on the noise. So we just changed to the Talbot straight away during practice. So it was never in my mind that the bike couldn't race with a Talbot. And they could, but the sound was different. So as a rider, you rely on your sound for many things. So riders, or some riders, thought that by changing to a aluminium silencer instead of a metal one is a little bit louder. Then they thought they couldn't race and the bike wouldn't run. But I never thought about it. I just raced with it.
Started to
It
mess
was
with
just,
them.
well, it messed with a lot of riders' minds. And this is what I've learned with psychology, is that if your mind plays your tricks, you're going to lose. So all these things came to that I was so ready. I mean, I sat outside. I don't know, you've probably seen the photos. I sat in the car park. I saw one heat. That I saw heat one, and that was the only race I saw all night. And I just sat out there. My mechanics, John and Henrik, completely just took care of the bikes. I actually blew an engine in heat one, and I'll show you something. Yeah, I did. I'll show you something. And people who know a little bit about pistons, I've got it here as a memento. I don't know if you can see it. This is the piston that came out of the engine. You can see that all this is burnt, all four corners.
Wow.
So it lost compression. So it's just to remind me of that you have to be a little bit lucky sometimes. And it kept going for I think for a lap and a half to 2 laps with this happened to it. And of course he came in and said there's something wrong with the bike. I could feel it. It wasn't running right because it seized all the pistons in it. So it's just to show you. I don't know if you can read what it says. Can you read it? It's inscribed.
Speedway 99. Yeah, Jan O Pedersen.
Yeah. And it's cool. It's here on my windowsill. Yeah. Just to show you something. So it sits there. So that was heat one. But again, I never worried about it. We just said to the mechanics, get the next one ready. And they did. And the only communication was when I came in, they asked me, do we need to change anything? And I said, if it had to or not. And then I went out into the car park and kept into my own mindset. We did use tire warmers as well. How much it helped, I don't know. I've later learned that you have to have tires that has to be made to use tire warmers. You can't just, because I became a Dunlop engineer later on when I did my tires in Denmark, race tires. So I learned that. So how much it did, I don't know. But I think it was a combination of many, many things. And my gates that night were brilliant. I think I was the only one who made a gate of 3. But I didn't know you could make a gate of 3, you see, because I never saw it. So it was just one of the things. So I think it's many things that you can attribute to what happened that night. Because in my mind, I was hungry, ready for that.
Super focused by the sounds of it. And preparation clearly key for you. Yeah, brilliant. Must have been pretty special. Like I know you'd had a runner up in a third as well, so you'd already gone close a couple of times.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So it was. I said it was my year, to be honest, because everything I touched that year was amazing. So at least I had the luck, and I think I've over the years I've learned what it was needed to win it, and the focus you need to win it.
I always loved all your setup, the levers you had and the colours you had, and I always loved the shoey helmets and the yellow goggles and that. I thought it was super cool.
It was before it was fashionable to see, so you could recognize. I learned that to become, you got to be noticed on the track, and I always say if you look at 4 riders bunched together, you should be able to pick you out. Too many nowadays put too many little details, but the fans can't see it. You know, all them little details gets lost, so that's not necessary. Yeah. That's why Nicky is very recognizable, because he's run the same setup for years and years, so everybody can see who he is.
Yeah, it's almost like your identity, almost, isn't it? So.
Well, yeah, and it was kind of what I got into and learned over the years, that you got to make a name for yourself.
I remember it was like you had a specific one, hands had it black.
Yeah.
You did the white as well, and gold. And,
yeah,
it was very good. You had your own sort of personalities with it.
It was my own, yeah.
Everything you ran there made your own. Almost like a brand, almost, wasn't it?
Well, you got to treat it that way if you want to be recognized.
Yeah, and the fans obviously do that as well.
Yeah.
Get into it. I think you've already said that. It was Otto, wasn't it? Who did Jano's engines for the World Final? You mentioned.
It was Otto Ice. I ran Otto Ice engines for 3 years. We actually, the first year was actually Otto Landenhammer, and I ran Eddie Bull and Otto Landenhammer, and then from 90 onwards, I changed to Otto Ice for the next 2 years, and then we did some amazing things, because there was a lot of first that we did. We were the first to put a data logging system on. We did that in 91. The first ones who got our heads port with a CNC from a computer program, which normally back then it was done by hand. So we did a lot of firsts, which was fun to do, actually.
Bit of experimenting. Callum here, I'm pretty sure I know this answer. Lee Ashby asked him if he knows Alan Graham.
Alan, of course.
Yep.
Fantastic rider. Shame to see what happened.
Yeah, it was so sad.
We, again, as being part of Crady, and he was as well, it was kind of the ones who rode there. We were kind of family. We were always close, always talked, always helped each other. That's one of our good things with Crady, is that I always remember if one rider, Alan, came out and said the track is getting a little bit slicker, you got to change gear, or I came to say it. As soon as we thought about what we were going to do with the bikes, if there's a change, we always told everybody else, whether they did something or not. But it's kind of what we did. Or Crossy came out, and Crossy and me, we normally ran pretty much the same gear ratios all the time. So of course, if I thought about changing gear and Crossy was out in the next race or the race after, I went over and told him. Same with Alan or Eric. We always talked to each other, and that was the strength of Crady, I think.
Very good. Yeah, and I see Andy Graham quite a lot now. He's come to my Motocross cameras and stuff like that. He even come to my wedding, so I've had some good chats with Andy and Jill, his wife. And yeah, it was sad about Alan. Very, very sad.
Yeah.
But I did do his interview as well before that happened, so it was nice that we've got that as a keepsake, and people can still visit it. It's on my YouTube, so yeah, great.
No, it was a bit of a shock when I heard it. Actually, I didn't even know he did continue. I know he raced for a while, but I didn't know he was still doing it. But no, I said he was a racer, another racer. Yeah. Of course, it's sad to see when it happens, but unfortunately, it happens.
Right, we've got another one here from YouTube. Pretty and sassy girl, her name on there is. Loved watching you against Sam Ermolenko and Ronnie Corrie. Did you enjoy those battles?
Of course I did. And I think, if I remember right, I won most of them. So I enjoyed that even more because they were our rivals.
Yes. We've got Ben sort of just asked about the. Right, okay, we go. So we got Ben here. He's put question: did Eric speak to you after you beat him in the 1988 final when he needed a win to guarantee the championship, teammates and all?
Did you mean speak to me after you beat him? No, he didn't. It
Didn't
took
he?
no. It took about a week after we
Did it?
won the in Long Beach. After we won there, that's when
Yeah.
we got on talking terms again. No, they were pretty upset with me because I beat him. But they said it's nothing. It was just back in the time. I think he was upset because I didn't want to let him win. So he did ask me. Or no, he didn't. His team asked me to, but I was fighting for my third place, so
It's a hard
I
one, isn't
had
it?
to do what I had to do. So, but
Yeah.
then again, I'm a racer. That's what I do.
Yeah, sending someone not to race is also, like you said, not difficult to do as well, isn't it?
Mm.
Fair players. Didn't know that one. That's interesting. Sophie just put, would you come back to watch Speedway now and talk to the today's generation's riders, see some old familiar faces? Do you come over to the UK anymore at all, Yano? I don't know if you do.
I was over last, what was it, November? I did a charity event in Cradley.
Oh, yeah.
Was it November? It was a fantastic to come back.
Was it?
I absolutely enjoyed that day. I'm trying to think when it was. It was later on last year. I came to Cradley. My best friend Paul, who lives in Cradley, invited me over to this charity. I think it was a cancer charity up in Cradley, and to talk to the fans who turned up that night was something I needed. It was wonderful.
That's great. That's awesome, then. That sounded good. Got Simon Corbett here. He just put, was the Nielsen and Wig partnership the hardest to beat at Dudley Wood?
No, I don't think so. I don't remember any partnership that was harder to beat than anybody else, really. He was on the day who was riding the hardest now, because I don't think they rode together that much, Wig and Nielsen. Because I mean, Wig was at Cradley in '83 when we won everything. So it was, no, as I said, it was, I think, the same as everything else. Everybody had to get beat.
He's just 80s, but did Jan ever ride the lay-down engine bikes, and how did he find the comparison to their uprights?
About 10 years ago, but I didn't ride an upright next to it. So
yeah,
I didn't really find it that much different. I really didn't. I couldn't. As I said, to do the proper comparison, you have to run them next to each other. But because of so many years ago since I rode an upright, it was a Speedway bike, if I can say it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. He's put, looks like it was Simon Cross's old mechanic, Steely. He's put,
Oh,
hey,
Steely, yes.
Remember the old days at Cradley with John Olsen and then Henrik? We had great times, mate, Steely.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes, I remember Steely, the ginger haired man. He was only a young boy when he started, I think, working for Crossy. Yes, as I said, with the Cradley team and everybody else who was around there. What a time. We can talk for days on end and stuff. There's things we can talk about, there's things we can't talk about, but fantastic.
No idea. John's got a good question. I have this written down as well. I wanted to know about that. Did you enjoy the old test matches? Do you miss all that? The Sweden and Denmark and England and USA, all in the UK as well, and test matches. Did you really enjoy them?
Yes, I did. Because, but then again, I enjoyed every race, really. It was different, but because you raced, there was a thing with Speedway, certainly back then, because we raced so many different teams and championships. So one night you were with your teammate, next night you were against your teammate, or sometimes you were against or with somebody. It was pretty great to do. But no, I do remember some fantastic times. And I remember Crossy, I hope he's listening. He made me, it was a test match, I'm sure it was at Oxford. And he made me go into the tapes. He just moved, and I was sort of looking across, and he moved, and I went straight in the tapes. And he was giggling that much afterwards. I looked over, and he was giggling. I could see his face. So thanks, Crossy.
Yeah. Did you? Because a lot of the riders, I remember it back then more so that a lot of all that went on, didn't it? It was like you'd go back, do the goggle thing, go back, and it was all loads of people Hans used to do it quite a bit. The whole
he did, yeah.
Spiking each other out, didn't they? And delaying the start, and then, like you said, the riders would move.
Yeah. And as I said, I understand in the World Championship, I understand it. But sometimes when you come to league meetings, there has to be a bit of gameplay. There has to be a bit of, because it has to be entertaining for the crowd. It has to be. And if that's what it takes, that's fine with me. If they don't want it, it doesn't really matter to me. But I didn't enjoy when you could touch the tapes, because that really delayed the start. But once they sort of said you can't touch the tapes, that's when it was enjoyable. And so the gameplay with going forwards and backwards, that was fine. It didn't bother me as a racer. It didn't.
Yeah. Just used to keep you calm and not
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, well, must have been awkward when you were pushing into it and they were sort of coming back, and it looked really awkward.
Yeah, because our clutches were getting that hot because there were so many going into them, and they were all trying to do it, and that was kind of a mess. But I said, as soon as I think they made the change in '84, if I remember right, that you couldn't touch the tapes, and that was a good rule. It really was.
Yeah, good. I've got Simon's just put, Jano, what year did you change to GM? Did you ever try a Jawa or a Godden? Hans was a successful Godden. Simon Cosrow Godden. Just interested in the reasons why, as a GM, completely have now taken over, as we know, or just the best offers from the factories at the time.
Yeah, but it's there is a new engine, and I think it's gonna. Fleming has made a new engine, and I've just seen it. I went to Lazo to check it out, and it's an amazing engine.
Yeah,
Fleming Carlsen, yeah. So that's no. I went straight from PPT to GM. I'd never tried yes, I did try a Godden. I rode one in Lonigo, one of Hans's, and it was quite tall, and I could just about, with my toe, I could just stand on the footrest. So when I had to move on the seat, I had to get actually my foot right on the toe to push myself back. So that's, I think, the only time I rode a Godden. Jawa, I'm not sure. I don't think so. I tried the PPT in '86, which was okay, but I really should have changed to GM from '85 when I made the change to that should have gone to GM. That would have been the right thing to do. But PPT, it was an enjoyable year. Loved the engine. Didn't have anything. Didn't like the man behind the PPT. It was never worked. But as I said, I got a second place in the World Championship, so I can't moan too much. But it was an old-fashioned engine back then. So that's why it never worked. And that's why the GM took over. And I think the Jawa, it could become a good engine again, but they need to upgrade it. They need to upgrade the factory and need to get with it. But as I said, I've just seen Fleming's engine, and that is something else.
Interesting.
I think that'll be the engine to have in the future. That's certainly what I would think. So it looks really good.
That'd be interesting to see them. Thanks for that insight there. Not sure who that is, but they've just put, you guested for Ipswich regularly in 1986. Was Vauxhall a track you enjoyed riding?
Yes, it was, yeah. I mean, I said, apart from the drive there, it was a long drive from the Midlands. But yes, I did enjoy it. I mean, I enjoyed most British tracks, to be honest, because we rode them so much. And again, the British tracks are race tracks. They're all different shapes, sizes. And again, once you crack the code for each track, it was. And again, Ipswich, you could race on it. It had the banking, fairly small. I guess it's still the same. Is it still the same nowadays as it used to be?
Yeah, they did change the Ipswich quite a bit. Like, kept bringing the inside in and stuff, making it wider. Cause it was,
Okay.
They made a few changes.
Yeah, sometimes they made the rules so it has to be wider now. I quite enjoyed the narrower tracks as well because it kept us tight. So, but again, with safety, and they put the safety fence up, that takes up a fair bit of room all the way around. So they probably have to take it in. But I enjoyed them as they were back then.
Yeah, it's changed a little bit. I was going to say, Simon's just put, did you ride in the Polish League at all?
Yes, I did. One meeting.
Just one, was it?
Signed a contract for Rybnik. Yep. And I rode a Rybnik on the Thursday, went back to Denmark. 3 o'clock Friday afternoon, I crashed and broke my back. And never raced again. Yep. So, yes, I did. I was supposed to do a full season there. I was supposed to do Sweden as well. But as I said, because the injury happened so early on, I never got to do anything like that. No.
Just talking about Ipswich, someone just put this, not sure who that is either, but they put
I remember it. Yeah, I do.
83 when the coach caught fire as Big Al stopped and gave you a lift.
Yeah, I remember that. God, we were back home at, I think it was pretty much light when we got back to the Midlands. Yes, the brake was stuck on, and of course it got hot, and it did catch a little bit of fire. Certainly, it smoked a lot. Let's say it that way. A few flames, but it didn't burn out. But we were stuck there on the motorway for God knows when, and I can't remember if Big Al took me back, but I thought I stayed on the coach and went back on the coach. I think another coach came and collected us at some stage during the night, or we got on something else. I don't remember, but God, it was a long night.
Oh yeah, honey, we did speak about that earlier. I don't even, obviously, maybe you should ask that a bit later because I'm catching up on comments.
Yeah.
I've got Adi just put, does Jan have any memories from Coventry Stadium? Obviously, the old Coventry Bees track. That's obviously
I do. It was a nice track to race on, but for whatever reason, not the best racing track. It was hard to pass on Coventry, but I had some good meetings there as well. Once I get the hang of gating a little bit better, it was okay.
They used to have some good. That was the heydays of the British finals when they used to have them.
Well, as I said, when I first came over, they still did the Sports Saturday. What was it called? I think on ITV. And there was a few times that Cradley Coventry was on. What was it? Saturday Sports? I can't remember what it was called, but I remember it. Who was the commentator? Very famous commentator who used to comment on it.
I know it as well, but I just can't think now you've said.
No, I can't think of it.
Someone's going to know.
Somebody's got to know, yeah. I'm sure they'll tell us.
Get the comments in. Yes, I remember all that. I think we call it Grandstand.
Yeah. Grandstand, of course. That's how it was called. Yeah, Grandstand. Yeah, it comes to us.
Gary Newborn, World of Sport. I did say World of Sport.
Yeah.
Start. World of Sport.
World of Sport, Gary Newborn. Yeah.
Gary Newborn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember him in the clips and all that. doing some.
That used to be Cradley Coventry. Used to be one of the good ones that they showed. Yeah.
We'd always have good matches with those two at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got them in the end then. Yeah, and Jill, that's Andy Graham's wife. Jill's just put, good job. Alan was always late.
Always
late.
late. He had to at Cradley. He normally turned up at 7 o'clock. 5 to 7, 7:05 was his normal time to turn up. He had to be late to for whatever reason they got him up and going, but he was always late. And I think Colin hated it because he was always so late. Colin Pratt.
Yeah, he hated that, did he? What do that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. It was always, it was just about, and it was always a rush when he came in. Everything was just sort of straight in. Everything was on. Everybody worked on his bike, but it was the same thing every week.
I don't know how you could do that. Yeah, I wouldn't be too good at that. Oh, that's good. Someone's put, it was 6 o'clock, Jano. I'm not sure who's put that, but they put when we got back, 6 o'clock. Big Al did pick you up, but he didn't have room for 52.
No, that's probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It was. I just remember it was really late when we got back.
Yeah, I remember him doing that as well. Dickie Davis. Yeah, he's died recently as well. The chap that always used to do World of Sport.
Yeah.
He was great as well. This is a good question, Paul, as well. This is a good question. Still enjoy watching your victory at Voyen's. 16 lapper, last to first in the final. Great passing as usual.
Yeah, 16 lapper was at Ipswich. 8 lapper was Voyen's. Yeah. 8 lapper was Voyen's. Yeah.
I remember Ipswich one. Yeah. So it was 8
that
laps.
Was 16 lapper. Yeah.
We did
21 laps at Wolverhampton.
Was it?
That's the longest I've ever done. It's 21
Wow,
lappers.
I didn't know that.
No, there was the old, what was it called? They did that. Certainly, I know I did the 21 lapper 1 year. I won it. Wow. And I've done 16 lapper at Ipswich and 8 lapper at Voyen's. Yeah,
so that was easy for you.
Obviously, it was my speciality. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that you only need 4 laps to pass everywhere, let alone that much time.
Yeah.
Happy days.
For whatever reason, I was the smallest rider, so I shouldn't really be able to do that many laps. But apparently, it was well. It must have been my speciality because I always did well when we did lots of laps.
I remember the 16 lapper at Ipswich. I think it's still on YouTube. A few of them are on there. And
the 8 lapper at Voyen's is my best race ever.
Is it?
Ever. Yeah.
Enjoyed them.
Oh, amazing. As people are still talking about it because it's shown live on TV here, on national TV, and people still talk about it. When I come out and do talkings or somebody else, people who's nothing to do with Speedway anymore will still remember that heat. That's quite amazing, actually. I find that amazing.
Someone's just put Coventry 26, Cradley 52. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Got Paul here. Hi, Jan. Do you remember the lathe you bought? Good design of headstock A. Should have gone on Wayne Garrett's bike, but never got finished. Still got on the bikes in the end.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, and I remember Boggio as well. Said he was again local, so we didn't live far from each other. So great lad.
Simon just put. Have you got your Golden Hammer trophy still? Don't forget to say out loud, Bruce Pennell, I won the Golden Hammer. That's an Eric joke. Laugh out loud.
Is it? Okay. No, yes, I do still have the Golden Hammer trophy, yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, brilliant.
So that's an Eric joke. Okay. Okay. I hadn't heard that one before.
I think he might be talking about, because I did do one with Eric and Bruce separate, but I did one with them together, and I think that was brought at them at the time.
Okay.
They were joking about.
Yeah.
Because Crossy come on and said he won. He said he bet he ain't got one of these though. was quite funny.
Mm.
So I was looking at the start. What was the first bike you ever had then, Jan? And what age were you when you had a first bike? What sort of bike was it?
My first bike, my dad built to me, because again, as you can imagine, not being so tall when I was growing up, I was really small as a kid, and my dad built my first bike, and I was 6 years old when I started to ride motorbikes.
Yeah.
Well, mopeds, call them what you want.
Yeah.
Little bikes, yeah. It was a homemade one, yeah.
So what was your first time what sort of age did you get onto a speedway bike then?
Well, I've always been a Speedway supporter, really, because I remember as a kid, my dad was mad with motorsport in general. And back in the day, I remember going to, there was 2 tracks, Fredericia, where we used to do 1 meeting or 2 meetings a year, and Fangel, which they used to do a couple of meetings a year, where they had international riders. And I was watching Ollie, Egon Müller, because Fangel was a big track, like kind of a little long track. I remember Ivan Major, Barry Briggs, and all them racing at Fredericia. So I've been watching since I can remember Speedway. So we've been to other tracks, well, motor races, car racing as well. So it was part of my DNA. So I mean, I started driving. I've still got my dad's tractor. It's a little tractor. It's not huge, only 20 horsepower diesel. I still got it. Still runs. And I started to drive that when I was about 3 years old, because back then you had to use hand tools because we had a little vegetable farm. So my dad built a clutch so I could stand on the middle part and steer it. So he built it, and I was about 3 years old when he taught me to drive that. And when I got my first car, or drove my first car alone, it was about 4.5. It was a Fiat 500 with no roof, no doors, because I couldn't see over the top. I had to look out through, like where the door used to be. There was like a rod that goes so it didn't break, and I used to hang off that and could just use the pedals just about. It was about 4.5. So I've been racing and driving everything since I remember, to be honest.
That's brilliant. Love that. A nice one here.
Oh yes, from the old 50cc, the Danish championship, if I remember right.
Not looking at the face there, I swear that looks like Jon Jorgensen, if I had to say.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think who is the rider is.
Yeah.
Just have to. And I think the other one is Peter Johansson. Another that raced. I don't know if you remember Alan Johansson, who raced in the league for a little bit. It was his brother. If it wasn't Alan, it was Peter. I'm not sure. They looked a lot like each other. Yeah, it's me and JJ. And I think it could be the Danish championship.
How old was that roughly then?
I must have been about 16. Ish.
So what was what was your age when you come over to the UK then?
20.
20 you come over to the UK.
Because back then I didn't start racing Speedway till I was 13 on a racetrack. I was about 13, and I went on the 500s the year. I raced till I was 17, and then I went on 500s when I was 18, and I did 2 years in the UK. In Denmark, before I moved to the UK. So the year I was 21, but I wasn't 21 till the season was over. So I was 20 the first year.
How was that transition for you to come over to the UK? Was that a big eye opener? Help you grow up quick?
I can't. I still remember it the first time, because I mean, it's different nowadays because you got the internet. You can see everything from all around the world. Back then, you couldn't. There was nothing, to be honest, that showed us what was England like. You had we had a one channel here in Denmark, and it was only running from 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock every night. That's all that you showed TV. Everything else you could see some German channels. So we had no really idea what it was like, and of course I got a phone call and made arrangements to come to the UK with Eric. Eric phoned me, Hans phoned me. They all wanted me after I won the semi-final in the under-21 in Krumbach. And then the phone calls started coming in. And so we arranged via phone call to go on the boat. And I think they must have paid for the ticket. So I picked the ticket up. I've never been on that ferry before. I think I've been to possibly Sweden, and I was in Germany when I won that. That's all I've ever been abroad. I never raced in Sweden. I've just been to visit. So coming to the UK, and I had to meet Preben, Eric's brother, by the ferry terminal. So I just drove through after I've been on this boat, I drove through, and then I don't know if I've seen a picture of Preben, but as I came out of the tunnel at Harwich, there was a man waving there, and of course he jumped in the car. That's the first time I met Preben. Never met before, never spoke to him.
Wow.
So that's how it was back then. So coming to the UK and driving out and looking at everything else and driving all them hours, don't forget Denmark is not very big, was a hell of an eye-opener. And there was one thing I got to tell you that the first year was over. I got to live at Western Velma's house in Swindon, not far from Cradley, just after King's Winford. And back then you had an A to Z, but I hadn't got one of them. I had a map, and I went for a drive, and I got lost. And there was no mobile phones, no nothing back then. You got to remember that's how it was. And I think I drove around for an hour before I recognized something that I thought I knew, and I found my way back. But that was a little bit scary because, again, with all this technology you've got today with mobile phones and everything else, GPS, but we didn't have it. And that was the fun part, to be honest, because you learn to adapt.
For sure.
But as I said, it was.
I don't know how easy they got it now.
Well, it's so much easier, but the experience we had were probably better than what they have nowadays, because we appreciated a lot more back then. Then today it's all part of it, to be honest.
Yeah, I got some nice early days.
God, yeah. Trying to think what year that was. If it's my bike behind is blue, it could be. I'm not sure whether it was the first year. No, I think probably 85, possibly. Yeah, at least you can see the body color there.
Yeah, exactly.
But as I said, Cradley was an amazing track. That's 83. I can see that. I know you can see the body color, but I remember the leathers. Phil Collins. Finn Horner, yeah.
That's Nigel Lever, isn't it? Nigel Lever, Bastable.
Yeah, Nigel Lever, yeah. Who else is in the Bastable? Do you know that me and Bastable were really close friends when I was in the UK? Or we became really close friends after that year, yeah.
Right, okay.
And we used to hang out until I went back to Denmark in 2000. Back then, we used to hang out several times a week.
I was going to ask you who your close friends during your racing days.
Bastable and Simon Cross, possibly the two closest ones in my back when I raced. Gerd Hamburg, we were pretty close as well. But as I said, with Phil Collins, everybody else, amazing times. We really did. But I know Steve and me were extremely close back in the day. And
Did
as
that
we used to hang out.
Did it never bother you when you raced friends? Does that all just left as you went on the track? And
you didn't think it was just, no, it wasn't. There was no friends on the racetrack. You had your teammates, and whatever teammates it was that day, that was who you looked after. Yeah. Once you get off the track again, you could be friends, and we were. But once we were on the racetrack, it was just a competitor. I never looked who I raced against. Didn't bother me. It was just somebody to beat.
Yeah, right attitude, well.
So no, it was. But as soon as we got outside the gate again, well, best of buddies again.
He was. I did an interview as well with Todd Wiltshire. He was a good rider. He was a.
He was. Yeah, and he got a serious injury as well back in the day.
Yeah. Pretty much just flying as well.
Yeah.
I think it was a Bradford World final. It was on the podium. Went on.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? No, it was Sean Moran and Sheffield. Who was he racing there? Is that Swindon? Or was it Reading? Who did he race? Swindon.
That's Reading there. Who's that? That's Todd Reading there, isn't it?
Was it Reading we raced?
Yeah, Todd's Reading there. Yeah. There's Dave Mullett behind the looks of it. I think that is.
Yeah. Okay.
What did you think of Reading? Because that was quite a smallish track as well.
Not my favourite, no.
No.
It was okay. Nothing special.
Yeah.
From what I remember, yeah. Nothing that stood out.
Yeah. Did you ride? I know a lot of the Speedway riders do that in the winter and things. What did you do for your winter period? I know a lot of the bike riders did motocross and things like that to sort of.
In the first few years, I raced motocross in the winter, just for fun.
Yeah.
But then, as I got more and more races during the season, I had to have a break, so I completely switched off. I didn't, because we did back then. We did a lot of traveling. I did about 100 meetings a year. In 7.5 months. But we did so much traveling that as soon as the winter came, it was just a matter of just kicking back to relax and build everything up for the season again. So that was my way of doing it. Some people went to Australia. I would love to have gone there. And I nearly went the year I won the World Championship. And I would love to have done it now. Yeah. But I did so many things during the winter that I wouldn't have done without, because there was so much press conferences and so many TV stuff, and back then you had newspaper stuff. The newspapers in Denmark were huge, because don't forget, Speedway in my day was the second biggest sport in Denmark. It wasn't quite as big as football, but we were on. When it was shown, all boys meetings were shown pretty much live. All our World Championships. When we went out and did a meeting in, I don't know, Prague or wherever else, there was at least, when we did World Championship, there was at least 4 journalists following us around from the 4 top newspapers in Denmark.
Was it?
And they were writing and photos and everything else. That's how it was in my time. It was huge back in Denmark. Yeah, it was. So we were quite famous at the time.
Yeah, very.
So it's not nowhere near as. Sorry.
What's it actually like now, Yano? Is it?
Not very big, to be honest. It's only Nicky who gets in the press because he's good at it.
Yeah.
Other speed riders don't really come in the press nowadays. You can stream everything else, but it's not on newspapers or TV or anything like that now.
Yeah, it's all found quite a long way, isn't it, from them days.
Yes, from them days.
What good? That's a good point. Someone just brought that up. What do you think of Leon Madsen? He seems to sort of be the main one really at the moment.
Yeah.
Is he second in the World Championship?
I think he is. I think he was finished second.
Yeah,
He's done. So the second time he's done that.
Yeah, I think so.
So, but of course he's got he'll have a rider, Bartos. He's a damn good rider.
Yeah,
and I think Leon has got the speed to do it, but he has to get the head right. You have to get the psychology right. That's the right way of saying it, to be honest. I think that's what's letting him down. He needs a good man next to him who can, shall we say, shield him or certainly make sure he does all the right things and doesn't put too much pressure on himself in certain situations, because he's got the speed to do it. And that's what I learned. That's the difference of being nearly there and doing it. That's all up here. Definitely.
Interesting that Paul just said. He said the Danes brought professionalism to Speedway for definite, but what do you think of how it is now?
I think the Danes are still professional, but I think the edge we used to have with the 80cc or 50cc in my day and all that development that we did back then, and we were probably the most prepared back in the day. But there's a lot of riders who is doing that. A lot of the poles are absolutely so professional because it's such a big sport down there. I don't think it's a top sport in Poland, but it's close as. So it's huge down there, and they're very, very professional. They have to be, because they've been taught, and this is what we need to find our way again. To be honest, if we want to be good, we have to have more riders coming into the sport. I don't know how the UK is, but I don't think it's brilliant there like it used to be. No. And I think we are probably on the same par as the UK. We're still good, we're still professional, but we don't have the edge anymore like we used to have. My opinion.
Yeah, and obviously I see that obviously in Poland they can practice anytime they like and stuff like that, and obviously that can't happen in many places. I know, not over here anyway.
No. I mean, you can practice here a lot, but the problem our tracks are not challenging enough. UK tracks are brilliant to practice on or brilliant to race on, because you have to be on your game to do that, but you have to do that in Poland too. So it's part of going and being part of it. If I was a young kid today, as again, when I raced, as soon as I had a phone call from England, I left. See ya. I would do the same thing, but going to Poland.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But the problem they have in Poland compared to what we used to have probably 50, 60 meetings a year for Cradley.
Yep.
Where I think in Poland they probably have 20 meetings for the club.
Yeah.
And it's not enough.
No, I see that they have these rules where they don't want them to ride in obviously too many other countries and stuff like that. So
yeah. I get the point, but to become a brilliant rider, you have to put yourself out. You have to go and finding a way that works for you. And again, I think what they're good at down there is they're good at using coaches. And I think that's why they have the advantage where elsewhere you don't use them. In Denmark, it's pretty amazing. I have to go and coach this kid. He's only just starting on 500. And they brought me in to teach him, which I think is the right way to do it.
Yeah.
That's what people should do. They should get some people in that they know who can teach them what they need to do and bring them on in stages. You have to teach them what they need to know that's wherever they are at that stage. So I think that's what could be done if you wanted an advantage. That's what you should do.
tap into your experiences. It'd be good for that. Just Frank Sorensen. This is what he said that he still had. Look.
Oh, brilliant! Well done.
So yeah, Frank Sorensen's still got them. So he sent me that earlier. So I said,
yeah. Just as they used to race them. Yeah. What year is that latest one? Does he say? It's got to be 91-ish. I'm just trying to think what else is there.
Frank's still alive. If you are on Frank, let us know. If you know exactly the year that was.
Could be 92 actually. Can't say whether it says Otto Weiss there or not. Does it say it on the side? No, it says Castor. If it's not Otto Weiss on there, then it's 92 leathers. Could be.
Okay, maybe he might be online. He might come and see us. Do you like these sort of things when you see these sort of things, Jan? When you see these sort of things like this, I see the guy that does all the models.
I think that's fantastic. That's Eric, though, isn't it? It's got my helmet, but it hasn't got my mudguard on, has it? Yes, it has. Yes, it is me. Yeah, it is. They're amazing, these models. Yeah, they really are. Yeah. Yeah, it's got the Otto Weiss on it. I just had to make it a little bit bigger so I could see it.
Yeah, I think the guy that does. I'm sure it's Simpson, his name from the UK, but there's still loads of things out there, and it's very cool.
It is cool.
Love it.
It really is.
I see these of yours as well. I'm gathering that's.
Yeah, I've got them out in the workshop. Yeah, they're all hanging out there.
Great to see them. I love them.
That's a photo from Yeah, I've got
models.
nearly the whole set of Cradley ones, but I also have the 3 from Eric's testimonial and his 2 farewell meetings at Voyens at Cradley. I've got all 3 of them
as well. Oh, nice.
Yeah, because I rode in every. It was my race jackets in their meetings. Yeah, I've got them. That's a pretty special one. Yeah.
Frank just said it was the one that you crashed in.
Yes, right. 892.
92.
Yeah.
Look at what happened there.
So frame broke.
Don't know if you can see that. Yeah. As soon as I
spotted
that.
Reason.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they could snap sometimes, but unless it was when we went to America, because the bikes were in bits, because they were packed down in cases. So it could be from that, because it looks like they're running around with their clothes, and it could be how we got our bikes to Long Beach.
See,
possibly.
I can see a lot of medals behind on the wall. I see I see a few.
Yeah, can you see behind me?
Yeah, I can see them all there.
Yeah.
Is that like all your world pairs and
that's the World Championships, the gold, silver, and that. You can. I'll show you actually. Can you turn the camera around? If not, you can see they're all there.
Yes, beautiful.
Mm.
Love it.
Yeah.
Was there anything? Was there anything that obviously you achieved everything? You won the World Team Cups, leagues, the pairs championship of hands twice. I think it is.
Yeah.
And obviously the individual world title. But was there anything that you felt that you should have done something else that you would have liked to have done? As in, like, do you believe you should have done more or less, or what was your?
No, I don't really think. I mean, I would love to have won the World Championship in long track. I did my only one in 91, and I finished 3rd. So no, I don't think there was really. I mean, yes, I won so many things, so many meetings, and so many races. So no, I don't think there is. Yes, I would love to have won the World Championship. I would love to have defended the World Championship again. If there's anything I miss, there's that part.
Yeah.
No, I said I did car racing. I won the Danish championship in car racing the first year I did, or the only year I really did, full year. And I was part of that for 10 years, 12 years, I think. of the
Really
car
cool.
racing scene in Denmark, and I learned a lot from Dunlop. I learned a lot from the way they actually run their sport, and I think we could learn a lot from that sport and convert it into Speedway.
And how old were you as sort of a youth when you were sort of thinking to yourself, I could make a career in this? Did you actually think that at that time, or did you just go with the flow and took the dive
You
over to
mean
England?
you mean to Speedway?
Yeah, to be like professional. Was there sort of an age you thought to yourself, I
I
can do
think
this type of thing?
no.
Come
I
into your
don't
no.
think back then. Again, we didn't have the feed from the UK or what happened there. It was just part of looking at Ollie Olsen. Then you started seeing the likes of Eric and Hans. But again, it was all Ollie. And that's what I was looking up to back in the day. And it was just what I wanted to do. I was just looking at an interview with my mom, and she said it was asked whether I was good at my school, and she said, and apparently I must have told her, because she said it doesn't matter. I'm not that good, or no, doesn't take care much of the school work because I want to become a speedway rider. So, and I did. So, and it was back in. I said it was an interview I saw today because when I was converting it, because I hadn't seen, my mum died many years ago, so it was yeah, it was nice to see. I'd forgot that actually.
Someone just put, quite a few people just wrote this, you would have dominated the sport alongside Ricardson in the 90s.
Yeah, there would have been a good chance. Yeah.
For sure. That's a good question. I had this written down that I wanted to know as well. Would you have liked to have been involved in the GPs now? Did you think of the one-off final was better, or would you have preferred the GPs? How would you have thought on that?
Yes, I would love to be involved in the running of it. I don't. I mean, I love the one day, and I don't think for the excitement, there's nothing better than a one day. I've got to say that. But for the sport, I think the GPs are good. I think it's brought the sport up to possibly another level because of the GPs, and it's, as I said, it's Ollie's, well, Ollie's baby really, the GP. It was him who got it up and running. It was him who converted it to what it's like today. So, as I said, he did amazing things with it. So no, as I said, as a whole, for the sport, and I'm looking very much at the sport, the GPs are brilliant. But as I said, for the sheer excitement as a rider and as a spectator, you don't beat a one day. You really don't, because the tension that day is unbelievable. If they think it's hard to win a GP, they should try a one-off.
Because you think I never got to go to a one-off road finals, but
No.
I've watched it all since, and the Wembley one, when Bruce won, and all those atmospheres and that. Obviously, you guys all built up to that all year, so everyone was like looking to that. Everyone's looking forward to that, and obviously, like you said, the pressure all for one night. Anything can go wrong with it, and of course, out of your hands. There's a lot of pressure all round, wasn't it? And it was like,
well,
a lot of tension.
It was a lot of tension, a lot of pressure. But as I said, we had to do all the qualifiers. It wasn't like we just went to the world final and yes, you won. You had to do your qualifications. You had to do your British final. You had to do the Danish final. And imagine back in the day, you had to be within the top 6 to qualify from the Danish final. Then you went to the Scandinavian, and again, you had to be in the top 6. And if you're looking at the riders back then, the Scandinavian final, that was a tough one. If you look at the British final and the Intercontinental, okay, there was 11 from the Intercontinental, but really the Intercontinental was nearly a world championship in its own way. So you had to do all them. And again, it was a one day winner takes all. So you had to do it on that day. So you were brought up to do it on that day, and everything had to be right. You couldn't crash too much. You couldn't. Your bikes had to be superb, and you as a person and your mindset had to be right. It wasn't like you could do a GP where you didn't do too well in, and the rest of the year you could build up to it. So, as I said, it was completely different, and I don't. If you watch it on whatever it is, if you've been there, you know the pressure, and the same with the crowd, because again, they were all following whoever rider, and they knew it was do or die really. And again, with me, I had 2 years where it was all built up, and the one day was 5 days before the World Championship in '89. I broke my arm, and the next year it was 4 days before the long track World Championship, and I think about 2 weeks before the World Final. And I tried to figure out a way of getting my hand strapped up or so I could race, but I knew it was never going to be. I wasn't going to be world champion material because I couldn't be that to go through an operation within 2 weeks and get fit again with my arm. It wasn't going to work, so I left it. But that's the pressure you dealt with. You had to deal with. It was amazing to do when you did it, but nothing could go wrong.
No, that's for sure.
So yeah, but as with the GP, don't get me wrong. I'm not putting it down because you still have to do it on the night.
Yeah.
So there's no, the pressure is still there, but it's not do or die on one night. It is throughout the year. You have to keep on top of your game all the way through. You can't just win one and then not do any good in the rest. You still have to do it. And I think it hasn't changed. The people who won the World Championship back then would have been the same people winning it now. It wouldn't have changed, because you still have to do it over the year. So, no, it's still the best rider who becomes world champion, I think.
Yeah, that's sure. You guys were all the ones that won the one-off. You guys were all dominant throughout the leagues and everything.
So
the Grand Prix made it even more so.
Yeah. So again, I think the same riders would have won it if it was a GP or one-off, and they would have. The ones who win it now would still be the same ones if it was a one-off.
Niels, but do you miss Cradley? Yeah.
Always. Always. It was still. It was not the. It was an amazing area. I said I lived in Brawley Hill, just down the road from it, and Cradley was not the nicest looking place, but it was home, and I loved it, every bit of it, and I still do. I still enjoy coming there, even though it's changed a lot. It's still Cradley, but I think it's the people who make it special.
What riders did you look up to and idolize when you were young? And did you? I was going to say, and did you get to race him? You raced?
I did.
Yeah.
My first year was Ollie's last year. I remember he shouted at me at Cradley for some reason. He was upset with me. I can't remember why, but he did. I don't know if I beat him or not. I'm not sure. I don't remember what it was. I just remember him being upset with me. But I said I've got the uttermost respect for Ollie because he was kind of up here when I was a kid, and he was the one that put Denmark on the map. No doubt about it in my mind.
That was cool doing it. And I did an interview with him as well, and that was really cool. And he kept having loads of internet issues, so it kept coming on and off. So it was a bit of a nightmare. Fair play to him. He actually did a second one as well. He did too, so it's brilliant.
Yeah. No, I went to see him. When was this? I spoke to him the other day. Ollie.
Did you?
I went to see him. Was it the end of last year? No, it's the beginning of this year. I went to see him. I actually went down for his, what would that have been, 50th year from when he won the World Championship. I went to see him with a bottle and something for his wife. So because I thought it was big, because you probably don't think of it, but Ollie was his first champion in 71 at Gothenburg. I won my first one in 91 in Gothenburg. So there's a little bit of a history. I know but it's still a little bit of history that I think is a bit funny.
So he was your hero then?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, still
Can
is.
you remember
Still is, to be honest.
Is he? Can you actually remember the first time you had to race against him? Can you remember that? Or
No, I don't remember the first time. I
no?
remember the first time I met him. That was
Okay.
before I came to England. There was a do at somewhere before and somebody introduced me to him. This is the next speeder rider or something. Somebody said, but I remember that bit. I do remember watching him race many times. So yeah. As I said, I have the uttermost respect for what he did for Speedway and for me, to be honest, because he got me interested in it, got my dad interested in it.
And when you guys were so dominant in your era of racing, with you, Eric, Hans, and obviously it just kept going, Bo Peterson, I remember Cargo, you just had so many guys, it was just so stacked.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys were must have been good because you always won the pairs thing and the World Team Cups. You obviously had the team thing, but it must have been super competitive between you guys. Obviously, you just touched on it earlier about Eric being annoyed at the final and stuff like that. So you guys were always in the hunt for everything going. So it must have been competitive, like between you all, and it couldn't have been easy a lot of the time.
No, it wasn't, because I mean, you think I was. If you think about 88, which I think was the top of the Danish thing, because we raced in Denmark on Olle's track, we finished first, second, and third in the World Championship. So I think it doesn't really get that much bigger, does it?
No.
So I think it was a huge thing for Denmark. But I said no. But then I finished third, and I was third in Denmark. Now, had I come from another country, I would have been the best.
Yeah.
So it's kind of your mindset, but it also gives you something to work at. So had I been English, I would have been a hero for finishing third, because I would have been the best British rider, or some, wherever else. But I was just number 3. I was number 3 in the world, but I was still number 3 in Denmark, which was, if we can understand what I think about. So yes, it was hard, and it was hard for everybody else who was just under us. I mean, look at Tommy Knudsen. A brilliant rider, but he never won it.
No.
But he was there or thereabout all the way through his career.
Yeah, I remember even.
So as I said, it was a. Yeah.
Did you guys because you were all in close contact all the time? Obviously, you was always with Eric. Did you guys used to look at each other's setups, and obviously everyone's chasing fastest engine you can do and this and that. Do you guys all share setups? Obviously, maybe in the team stuff.
No, we didn't share setups. No, didn't share. I mean, as I said, with Simon, a little bit with Eric, but it was more that you copied whatever he did or tried to figure out whatever he did. But with Simon Cross, because we were the same age and with different countries, we probably shared more things than me and Eric. Even though me and Eric have always been great friends within Speedway, not outside Speedway, but within Speedway. Always a lot of respect for each other. But as I said, I don't think he shared any secrets with me. No, not that I remember. No.
That's the thing. It's just so competitive, isn't it? And you guys are at the top of the sport, so everyone's trying to have their competitive edge, as it were, or whatever.
Yeah, of course.
Were you always interested in the technical side of the bikes? Did you ever do any of your bikes yourself, or did you like that part of it?
I was. Well, as I said, I'm very technical. I did my apprenticeship as a mechanical engineer. So I'm very interested in how everything works. I never done engines myself. I know all the workings, I know how it works, I know what makes it better, but I haven't even, I could, but I've never done it myself because I thought I was a speedway rider, not an engine tuner.
Yeah.
I was good at riding Speedway. I could probably do engines as well. I've never done it, but of course I could. Back in the moped days and the two strokes, I was really good at it. But I never did it on the four stroke. It never interested me. But I got to know everything, especially when I was with Otto Weiss in Germany, because we had an engineer from BMW Motorsport who used to do cranks, and he was allowed to work with Otto Weiss and me because he was training to become to do work with cylinder heads. And of course, it was a training for him to work with us to get better because we just ran a single cylinder. So he learned a lot from us, but we got a lot of technical info. And when I got into car racing, I raced a little bit, and then all the engineering side and the tire side really got me interested in how you could convert that into Speedway or use in different areas. So I'm really interested in that. I mean, I've made my own World Team Cup format, which I think is how the World Team Cup should be run.
Yeah.
So I've made all my own rules. I'm really interested in how things could be made better, and I'm really good at looking at other sports to see what have they got. How can we convert that into something that could make Speedway even better? So I've done. I'm very technical in that side.
Yeah, very good. Details.
I like details.
Details. Colin Richardson. Yeah. Hello. Good evening from Dubai, boys. Colin Richardson. How's it going, Colin?
That sounds like a nice place to be as well.
That sounds warm as well.
Yeah, it does.
Having a good time over there, Colin, working over there?
Yeah. Have a good time, Colin.
Have a good time, Colin. I'll have to get an interview with you. I've spoken to you a couple of times about that.
Yeah.
All the guys are asking, I don't know if you remember that in the UK, that question, did you ever go on the Question of Sport? I know a couple
No, I didn't. No.
Someone just said there that did you do it after winning? Sam Ermolenko and Gary Avalon might have someone just put.
I don't know why I didn't go on. I've no idea, because normally they took the World Championships on there. Yeah. Whether it's because I crashed or not, I'm not sure. No idea.
Oh, interesting. Did you ever have certain bikes and engines? I always ask this. You rode over the years, and I've heard that some of the riders have like weird names for certain engines and things like that. Did you have any special ones, or you literally?
No. I raced. I mean, again, more so with the Otto Weiss. I think we, Marvin Cox and me, we had a pool of engines, and I think they were set up the same way. So we just got an engine. Yes, I think there was one of the numbers that, but because there was so many of them that no, I don't. It was just, I just raced it, did the best I could, and said we had so many good engines there that they were all the same. So we just raced them.
You just mentioned Marvin Cox as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I literally, he rang me. Was it the other week on Facebook on a FaceTime, and because he's like over, sort of out Asia way.
Yeah, he's living over. I was with him last year. I haven't seen him for years and years. I was with him last year in Gdansk.
Oh yeah.
And he told me how he's got a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
He sort of, I think he's married to an Asian girl who lives in Thailand or somewhere. So he goes over there for a few months a year. Then he goes to Sweden for a bit to work at some something. And then I think he goes to England or Poland and does some work as well. So he just works all over the world, but he does that every year.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think he just lives, he's married, but he lives a single life. I think that's how it's.
Sounds like it if he's going all over this.
Does,
I I literally spoke to him, and he was on a video call, and it was like pure, like it was like a movie. It was like in the back streets of like some Asian place. And it was like, wow. And I was talking to him about an interview, and he's going to do one soon. So I think he's coming over.
Good.
UK soon, so. Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. Did you who were the sort of toughest riders in the British League? That obviously there was a lot of number ones then. There was a lot of heat leaders, number 5 and all that, and number 3 and all that. But was there any specific ones that you remember in the British League that were always tough to race against?
You mean as hard or difficult to race against?
Yeah, all of
it. Neil Collins was a hard rider.
Yeah.
I said I used to love racing against the Morans. They weren't tough, but they were really as nice as they were off track. They were raced as nice on track. So we had some fantastic competitions against each other, Kelly and Sean. But they were all gentlemen, like, so we all raced in a gentle way, but we still raced each other. Yeah, we weren't hard on each other. We raced fairly, where like few riders like Preben Eriksson, Neil Collins, and there was quite a few were hard riders. So when you raced them, you had to race hard. It was part of it, to be honest. So they were all different ones, but no, I don't think there was. I think I could name so many, and it was always enjoyable to race against them. It really was.
Was there any guys that you didn't get on with and always seem to come together on the track, or always have an issue with them somehow?
No, I never really had issues with anybody. I never did that shouting at each other and all that sort of thing. I never did. It wasn't my style. I wanted to race on the track. That's what we did. So no, I don't think that there's nothing that springs into mind that was sort of an irritating or somebody that I didn't get on with. There's people I got on better with than others, of course, but I don't remember being upset with anybody really.
Do you have any weird and wonderful superstitions of any sort?
I won't say I had that. You always have a little bit, I think. I always put my, if I remember, my left boot on before my right boot when I put my socks on. But I still do to this day. I'm not sure whether it's a superstition or just something you do. As I said, I didn't really have that many superstitions. And if I did, they changed. It was never the same one. Even though I saw some riders have certain superstitions and they always had to do it. And if they didn't do it, it was nightmare. So I never got into that part of it, no. But I think say you put, I think I put my left glove on before the right. And I had a certain way of doing it, but I don't think it was because of superstition. I think it was because of what I was used to doing.
Who are your favourite riders to team ride with, club-wise and country-wise, and why?
I gotta say Alan Graham and Simon Cross. Probably the two. But then I had some good rides with Greg and Billy as well. But I think from especially early on, I mean, Alan Graham, when we rode as a pair, we were, I don't think you could have put a paper in between us. We were that close. Same with Crossy. We had some amazing races as well. So, and I said, Greg and Billy, again, you could race close to each other and they were good to race with. So I said, I'll probably have to say, but then Phil was always a fun one to ride with. But of course, we didn't race together that many years. So the ones I said I got closest to racing-wise was Simon Cross and Alan Graham.
Did you tend to have a routine with them where you would take the outside and they would go to the inside, or did you have a?
No, No,
Ride out?
it was no, it was. I always, I think probably a couple of years, I got the Mr. Bonus race when my team rider was when I was racing with somebody. I'd rather let them win than me.
Okay.
That was one of my things. I had no issues with becoming second. It was to my team rider. So I'd rather let them win, give them, because I don't know, I liked looking out for the other rider. I'm sure some of them did as well, but I enjoyed the team racing. I enjoyed when you could work as a team on a track, and I didn't have a favorite inside or outside. It's just how the race played out. No, I enjoyed. I loved the team racing. I really did.
Couple of interesting ones. Yeah, Simon just put, remember you big out. I think that means 5-1 at a big 5-1 at Bellevue, Kirky Lane to win the tie.
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
And,
good. As I said, it was one of the fantastic racing we've done together.
Jimmy is, but as you wore number 3, how did you feel riding with reserves? I know you nursed some around like Mark Robinson, Anthony Boyd, and Justin Walker, and did Scott Smith scare you on the track?
You mean the Scud? Sorry. Well, that's how that was his nickname. No,
Yeah,
he didn't. He didn't scare me. It wasn't a rider you could really race close with as you could with Alan or Simon or some of them. No, I enjoyed being number 3, and I enjoyed when I was in a position to help them out. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did. It was fantastic to see their faces afterward. If you could nurse them to win a race, if you could help them to not nurse them to win, if you could make sure that they are always if I was in a position to, I'll let them win, because they needed the 3. Even though I got 3 as well, they needed that more than me to keep the spirits up.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing I did enjoy racing them. So yeah.
This is a good one. Have you thought about writing a book about your career?
Yes, I really want to write a book, but I've never found really anybody who could write it, because I want to do it both in Danish and in English, and possibly convert it to Polish as well. I would love to write about my career, but also do one about my life. I said I do the lectures now, where I talk about my career and my life as well. Because even though probably, I don't know if many people know, but in my accident, I got a handicap. I still live with a sort of a handicap. I don't call it a handicap, but I have a chronic pain disorder and have had since the accident.
Yeah.
So I have to live in a certain way. I can move all my arms and legs, but part of my body that's not like my arms and my legs, they have nerve damage. But not the nerve damage so I can't move them, but nerve damage is my head thinks there's something wrong with them. So it creates nerve pain. And that's a disorder I've had since the accident. And as you get older, it gets worse. So I would like to write something about how you manage to live with issues. So it's not straightforward, yeah. To help people who live with disorders or problems.
I have got a decent contact in the UK about books.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Put me through to see if we can. Because I would love to tell, because we have some amazing stories for what we did, and as I said on the lectures, that's what I talk about. Some of these stories that some of the things we saw that was amazing, that that you have to tell, and people can have a laugh at it, or learn something from it, whatever it is.
Yeah. So I was actually talking
It's
to him on tonight as well. His name's
okay.
Brian Burford. He still works for the Speedway Star.
Yeah.
And he's like done Sam Ermolenko's book,
Yeah.
Kelly Moran book, Moran Brothers book. I think he done Billy Hamill's book.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's done a few.
Yeah,
I think
I want one not just about the career, but about what it's like to a little bit more deep in that sort of sense. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That'd be good to see. A few more. What's Colin Richardson just said here? You got back on a bike a few years ago. Did you enjoy getting back on the bike again, or was it physically very hard, also hard not to go quick, or just fun? Because back in the day, you were so quick.
I never got fit enough to race properly. It's all about fitness. I mean, and living with a pain disorder doesn't help things because you have to. You don't have the same energy as you used to have. So getting fit to race again. Plus, it was 20 years since I sat on a bike, I think, even though I sat in at 99, to get physically fit again. I never expected to race on the same level as I used to. I enjoyed the riding part, and I wish I could have continued, but it would have kept me from, if I had to race, I had to just to get fit. I would have to probably do a year, 2 years with nothing else to get fit again, proper fit. So, and then however quick you could do, I don't know. I didn't mind losing it because it was never serious enough to, it was some fun. It started off as I was going to race around Wolverhampton as a comeback for fun. It was just for fun. And that's how I got into, and I did a couple of meetings purely for fun. The second one I did for Voyens in the Super League. I wasn't supposed to, but they phoned me up, and it was the day before, and they said if we have an issue, they couldn't get a. Funny enough, and I have to tell you the story. In Denmark, you know, you have different A, B, C, D classes in Denmark of riders.
Yeah.
It was 20 years ago I raced, and I've raced since. I was still a Class A rider. So I was still a number one rider. I mean,
like an average one.
So because I was classed as an A rider, Voyens, they just got an A rider injured, and they couldn't find a rider for the last meeting. So they phoned me up and said, listen, if you don't put an A rider in, we're going to get fined. Would you do it? And I mean, I wasn't even fit. I mean, I've done some practices. I've done one meeting, and I did a first division meeting for fun. And I said, well, what can I do? I said, listen, we just want you to turn up and race as good as you can. It doesn't matter. Don't have to score points because we don't want to get fined. So I agreed to do it. And it rained like hell. Just to make it even worse, it absolutely poured down. It rained during the racing as well. The track was diabolical. And here is me not fit to go and race against them. It was, I mean, oh God, it was, listen, I did that for them. Because had I been sensible, I would have said no, but I couldn't say no to them. I didn't want them to get fined. So I turned up, and I think I did 4 races, but I wasn't fit enough for it. I crashed one. I scored a point. Somebody passed me, but they passed inside the white line, so they got excluded. So no, as I said, it wasn't never meant to race on a certain level. It was purely for fun.
Yeah, wanted to turn up in it to be dry and slick. Heavy mess. Oh, wouldn't it? Oh, looks like a few contacts now. Look, you carry on, Jan. Yeah, no.
Yeah, and as I said, it was just that meeting, and as I said, it was, had I not been nice, I would have said no. And I didn't think about a career or anything like that. I thought about helping a club. So as I said, it didn't do me any favors. But then again, it didn't bother me because but I could just see the fitness I had to get to race the way I wanted to. I had to do a full years of just testing and practicing and workouts if I had to get to the level that I wanted to be. And at that time, I couldn't do it. And with my wrist today, it has to be repaired. I have to have 2 joints in, and it'll have to be stiff. Can't move it anymore, and I have to have a joint in here and a joint in my thumb, because apparently it's completely ruined. So I'm trying to delay it a bit because it's 3 operations and I don't particularly feel like it, but so I'll just delay it as long as I can.
Looks like there's another someone. Frank has just said that Jan, I know, can write your book. He's done books for Ollie and Nikki.
Okay.
All the contacts are coming in.
Just contact me.
Yeah, the contacts are coming in.
Yeah, Frank. Yes, Frank. Yeah, I know Frank. Yeah.
Surely the book must be Black Country as well, our kids.
Of course. Of course, it has to be Black Country. That's why, as I said, that's why I was born in the UK. Was a Black Country.
Quite a few people have said this, and I keep missing them because I keep seeing like some other questions. But everyone keeps asking me, does Jano still like a curry, and what curry does he like? I see a couple of other questions I've seen of.
Sorry, Baltic Towers, very hot. Still, as soon as I'm over, actually, I won't say I don't sleep there, but I eat there all the time. Baltic Towers up at Blackheath.
Yeah.
I've been coming there since 1990, when we went there for the first time with Bastable. He used to have a shop just round the corner, and I've been coming there ever since. And I make them here in Denmark as well, to that style. So yes, I still love them.
I kept seeing it, and I was thinking, are they serious with that question? I gather now it was the thing. I didn't ask.
Yes.
It was I remember you saying your favorite team riders. Who was on the national level? Who was your favorite to ride with?
In Denmark?
Yeah,
well,
Denmark.
You don't. The only time we raced as a team, as in the UK, was when we did the test match.
Yeah.
And I never had a steady teammate, so I don't really know. I mean, I raced with Hans if that means anything, probably Hans. We raced in the 2 pairs competitions, World Championships.
Yeah.
And won. So I'll probably say the only one I rode with on a regular base was Hans.
Yeah.
And we rode well together. Don't get me wrong, and you could race close with Hans because he was a good rider as well. I remember doing when we did the one in Landshut in '90. That was 6 riders at a track at one time. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. That was different. That was different. Yeah, there was riders everywhere. Unfortunately, Crossy broke his back that day in the Heat 1, I think. In his first outing, anyway.
Did you enjoy that format?
Yeah, it was. I said it was my first outing in the World Team Cup, and it was good, but you had to have a big track to do it on.
Yeah,
because there was riders everywhere when you do 6. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But I said the year after was amazing in Poznan, where we absolutely blitzed all of them. I had an engine failure. Spark plug came out. Spark plug cap came off. Say it right. But I was leading. It was the only race I lost in the World Championship. Was that one? So there was. I won all the heats in the World Team Cup, all the heats in the World Final, and I think that was the only race I lost that year in the World Finals. So
just need that little bit of that, don't you?
Yeah, it's just history. It's just fun to think about. It's something I remember. That's all. It doesn't mean anything, but it's just what I remember.
Did you prefer to be part of the team, Jan, or did you prefer the individual stuff or did you just like both? Was there a preference?
I don't think there was a preference. I enjoyed the team stuff. I really did. I enjoyed the team racing when you raced like we did at Cradley or Sheffield, where you raced with a teammate. I enjoyed that bit because you had to look out. It was simpler than, it was more difficult than racing just individual because you just had to go. But when you raced as a team, you had to look out for each other. You had to see whether you could help each other. Then you got to, if you could help each other, you got to try and figure out how to do it. So there was more layers to it, and I enjoyed that bit. I really did.
Was there any other? And obviously you had the amazing time at Cradley, and we know you did the bit at Sheffield at the start as well when you went out on loan. Was there any other British teams that you nearly signed for during that period at all? Was there any other something to do with the averages or anything like that? You had to.
No, I mean,
possibles.
when I won the meeting of Crumbach in '82, the phone rang. Hans rang. Eric ran. Hans was Birmingham. Eric was Cradley, and there was a chap from Poole who rang as well. It wasn't a Dane. It was just I don't remember who it was. I really don't remember, but I remember the phone call. So that was the three, but Eric was the more convincing one. So I went to Cradley to test, and I signed after I did some. I think I did 2 or 3 practices at Cradley. I was there for a week, and I signed for Cradley for the following year. It was Pete Adams who was a team manager back then, promoter, team manager.
Still doing the Wolves.
Yeah.
Still
around.
Still around.
He was a damn good promoter.
Yeah. Who was the biggest influence in your career and why? You know,
Mum and Dad.
Mum and Dad.
No doubt about it. Without them,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made it into Speedway. Same with Mum and Dad. You have to have this story. It was actually my grandma, granddad.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who I was brought up with and lived with. So they are, but I call them my mum and dad.
Yeah.
Because I don't know my real dad. I don't know him. I know my mom, my biological mom, and I know my stepdad. But I always lived with my grandparents, and they were like my mom and dad. I was brought there, and I called them mom and dad. They were the biggest influence in my life, and you can't thank your parents enough, really, but they're the ones who made sure I am the way I am today.
They must have been seriously proud of what you achieved in the sport.
Yeah, they were. I mean, my dad was there at the World Championship in '91. My mom died in the Christmas '89. That's one of my wishes, is that she followed my career. I still have every program for another race in Denmark. Everything from when I raced, I have in folders that my mum made. She followed it that close, and they're filled in programs. Yeah,
brilliant.
I really want to put it out digitally, but I don't have the time to do it. Yeah, I still have it, and my mum did that. For her, that's my biggest wish, that she had seen the me winning the world final, because she would have been blown to bits. So that's one of the things I'd wish could have happened, but it didn't. So, but yeah.
If I had to push you on it, who would you say were the 3 best riders that you ever competed against in your Speedway career?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, really hard. Hence, I said I'd have to
really hard. That was the best riders, or I enjoyed the most, or because it's different things, or the best riders I've competed against. I mean, Eric and Hans is obvious because they were the best at the time. So of course, kind of the obvious. Hans was a tough rider to ride against. Not as in hard, but as in quick. But then again, when Eric made the start, he was gone. It was only in '88 when I passed him. But we don't like to. But now it. Oh God, that's hard. That's a hard one. Greg was one of the nicest riders to ride with, apart from the Moran brothers, and he became world champion. I still talk to him when I see him, Greg.
Yeah.
But then again, Billy wasn't a tough one as well. So as I said, I couldn't pick three. I don't think I could. but of course, Eric and Hans is probably. But then again, you had Per Jonsson, which I raced against all my career.
Yeah,
and again, another world champion and a damn good rider. So I kind of probably have to say them three, but it's only because they were champions and I raced against them, because there was that many riders that was brilliant to race against, and I thought was brilliant. I always said that. Yeah,
easily. That era was just so good.
It really was, and I said that I always rated Kelly Moran as an amazing rider. He wasted his talent, but when the way he sat on his bike were brilliant. When you see him race, and I remember him racing back then, he could ride anything at any time, but in other ways he wasted it, but he had talent like nothing else.
I don't think his bikes were great sometimes either, but he still.
Well, no, he didn't. He couldn't manage his career, but the way he sat on a bike and how easy it made it look when he raced Speedway were brilliant.
So I've seen. I'm trying to get. I've been sorting. I'm trying to get an interview with Nicky as well. Nicky Pedersen. I see he's just become Danish team manager now. What do you think about that?
We'll see. I really don't have an opinion about it.
Okay.
We'll see. It's
interesting, isn't it?
It's very interesting because I've never, as I said, I can easily comment on it, but I think we should just see, because the way everything is done, it's never worked before. I mean, Hans and Ollie were sworn enemies at some stage because Ollie helped Eric.
Remember that? I asked him all about it.
And he did that in his spare time. It wasn't he was supposed to do it. Back then, the team manager was the team manager for the team. He didn't help out like they do nowadays. So Nicky's son is racing. He's racing. He's trying to be a TV personality, and he's going to help the Danish team. Well, it's not for me to comment, really.
See how it goes.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be very interesting. Who's the riders when you watch now? Who's the riders that get you off your seat, like would excite you to watch?
Bartos. Really does. I watched him. I was with. I was in Poland. Was that year and a half ago? I was there quite a bit with Gorso, and I got to watch him a bit. Oh, he's exciting. He really is. As many others, I've always liked Emil Saifulinov as well. I've really always liked him as a rider. Really exciting to watch. But at the moment, if I had to pick one, it's Bartos.
I don't know if you've seen it. That's all right. I just literally got quite shocked the other day when I saw that Emil signed for Ipswich to come to the British League.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I spoke to
Chris. I like him as a rider. As a rider, I've always rated him. Yeah. He's a good rider. He's never really put it together for whatever reason. I don't know. But as I said, for pure excitement, and probably the best racer at the moment is Bartos.
you have some good mechanic relationships over the years? Did you have a specific one you had for a long time, or did you have different mechanics? What was
Yeah,
that?
I've just seen him the other week, John Olsen.
Ah, right.
I had 3 mechanics in my career: Craig
Yep.
Hadley, John Olsen, and Henrik Hansen, and they all always enjoyed working with all 3 of them, and I have some amazing memories. And as I said, I value what they did and how they did it. Me and Craig had an amazing time. He couldn't hold a spanner when he started working for me, but he became really good. He really was good. So he lives in Spain now. And John, because they weren't just mechanicking; they were friends as well. All 3 of them.
Yeah, very personal.
And Ruth, Henrik's ex-wife, I spoke to when I was in, and Sophie. It's my goddaughter, Henrik's oldest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sophie, yeah. And as I said, no, I thoroughly enjoy seeing them, and we had an amazing time back then. So I still see Craig on Facebook and everywhere else in Spain, but as I said, we had an amazing time, all 3 of them. So I wouldn't like to pick one because they were all really good in their own way.
Wow, I really appreciate your time, Yana. That was amazing. I'm honoured that you come on. I always loved your
You're
career.
welcome.
I remember seeing you at Swindon many times, and yeah, you were a brilliant rider, amazing. Good luck with your new adventures, with your
Thank you.
with the side of everything,
For the coaching. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
If any time, just let me know, and I'll be available. I hope
brilliant.
all the people who was listening in enjoyed it.
Yeah, they certainly have. There's been so many.
And I'll send you a link you can put on you when I've got to set up. I'm setting up a little with old stuff on a video channel on YouTube. I just need some more on, and I'll send you a link where people can go and have a look. I said the quality is not always brilliant, but
I'll get you into my group as well, because I've got
yeah.
I'll just show you. I'll send you a picture of it anyway. You'll see it.
Okay. Yeah, do that. Yeah. Excellent.
And, you can come into there as well, so I can tag you in it when I put all that in there and stuff like that. But yeah, really appreciate it. I will have this. It will all be recorded, and I will get that over there the next few days, and you can put it on your social media.
Fantastic. Good.
Brilliant. Much appreciated.
Thanks for tonight.
Thank you, absolute legend. Thank you, mate.
See
all
you.
the best.
See you.
Thank you, mate.
Bye.
Brilliant. What a legend, Jano. Awesome. Jan O Pedersen. Love it. Another ledge. What a man. Oh, still makes me, this is what gives me good morale in life. I've needed this. Oh, brilliant. Forgot how good these actually made me feel. It's been 4 or 5 months since I've done one. Very cool to come back and do Jan O Pedersen. Definitely one I've spoke to for a while, tried to get hold of, and super grateful for him doing that. All the Danes and that sort of era of 80s and 90s when I was growing up were all the top riders, and to get to speak to all these still never gets old for me, that's for sure. I don't know about you guys. Thanks for all coming on. Cheers, Simon. Yeah, for sure, Richard. Remember the year he passed Lee Adams and Jimmy Nielsen? No, I don't remember that. I don't want to talk about that one. Supposed to be lucky. That's for sure, Paul. Definitely one of them. No problem. Whoever said that? Yeah, I was watching the football. Hi, Jimmy. Thanks for coming on. No problem, Mick. Yes, I have tried to chase Tommy Knudsen. I did get his email at one point. I think when I spoke to him, he wasn't keen on doing one, but I will keep chasing. I've been while we're on that subject of Danes, I've been speaking to literally been speaking to Nicky Pedersen for the last couple of years, and we've nearly done a couple of dates. So I've been just trying to get a date and stuff like that. So hopefully I'll should be able to get him on soon as well. Today I also spoke to Niels Christian Everson. I spoke to today as well. I'm going to do one soon. I already mentioned to you guys earlier, I spoke to Doug Wire earlier and tested out on this platform that I had for Yano tonight to make sure it worked, because he said he had a tablet and he wants to still speak about that he's still riding now at 75, which is awesome. Here's another man I've got to get on. Spoke to this man a couple of times. Hopefully I'll get Gary Stead on this year. Would be great. Another one I really enjoyed and got to meet him personally this year at Cardiff, which was really cool. To meet him and his brother was really cool down at Cardiff. That was yeah, it was really cool. It was quite an eye-opener to meet them lads. And then we went in the bar and seen Tony Rickardson's, and we had a good chat with Scott Nichols that I did an interview with, and Chris Louis as well was there. And it was literally that week I'd done Calvin Tatum, so it was nice. He gave me a nice wave and all. So that was nice. Plenty of selfies obviously was going on doing that. Oh my god, I'm with all these boys, the hair and all that. It was good. I think Savalas Cloughton was there when I hadn't seen for a long time, and yeah, it was really good. It's good to meet you boys anyway. There he is, speak of the devil. We had a good time that at Cardiff, and I had to get my buddy Mr. Wheeler, if he's out there. It was a little bit worse for wear. I had to get him back to the hotel and then got myself back out. Unfortunately, I just missed Joe Screen that was with the lads as well. He was with Dewey and Lowell at the time, and just missed Joe Screen, so that was a bummer. I see he was at Hawkstone yesterday as well at the Motocross, and I would have liked to have gone to that, so looks like I missed him there as well. So hopefully I'll get to bump into Joe sooner or later. Yeah, it was really cool, mate. Yeah, he is, mate. I really enjoyed it, and got on easy to get on with them lads, and we had some great chats, and there was lots of stories and all that. I love all that. It was amazing. There was just Speedway riders and stars all around, so it was amazing. Never gets old for me. Proper fanboy in it, I was. Gert Hamburg, yeah, I didn't even know he was on Facebook, and I spotted it earlier on, and I tried to friend request him, Jimmy. So if he does that friend request, I shall try and tap him up as well, for sure. No problem. Hopefully now I've got back on it. It's been 4 or 5 months, like I said, since I done American motocross legend. Jeff Emig was quite a while ago now, so got the zest back, sorting myself out, and yeah, we're going to get on it. And tomorrow night I'm doing British motocross rider, former GP rider and British Championship rider. He's going to be we're going to have a good laugh tomorrow night with Russ Jarman. That'll be good. He's riding in our legends again and racing in the vets again for our reunion 3 as well. And I've got a few cool videos to show, actually. Yes. I saw someone else said that. What, you have to let me in on this? What is this Dougie No Dough? I can only guess. No problem, Stephen. Thanks for coming on, buddy. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to do that for Wednesday night. So we're going for 3 on the trot. Motocross 1 tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time. Doug Wire, 7 p.m. UK time. Wednesday night we're going to go for. So I'll sort that out with Doug. My friend Adam has just said about, I did actually see that, Adam, if you were still on. I did see that I could have, I think Jan was on the phone. I could have got him to turn it sideways to fill out the screen, but I just let it go this time. I did see that, and I was just a couple of times I was going to ask him, and then we got onto something else, and then I just thought, oh, I'll just leave it. He's got it. I could see all of him in the screen, so it was all right. But yeah, I could have asked him to move the phone sideways, but I just let it go in the end. But I've got a few videos I'm just going to quickly show so that some other people can see that as well for the Reunion 3 that we've got, Motocross and Speedway Memories Reunion 3 for Whiteway Barton in Devon, 29th and 30th of April, bank holiday Monday, 1st of May, that weekend as well. So it's great, and I've got quite a few famous names in the motocross world. I've already done a few videos this last couple of days for us to help promote our meeting, which is really cool. I'm just going to play a couple of them that I can put out there. This one is from 4 times British motocross champion Paul Cooper, who's over in South Africa at the moment, and he's with Dean Hoffman as well, that does all the coaching out there as well. So I'll just play that one there.
Hey guys, Paul Cooper here, just in Cape Town at the moment, South Africa, doing some training and coaching with Dean Hoffman Racing. He's joining me here just to remind you guys about the motocross memories and speedway memories that the Ashby is running at Whiteway Barton. Get yourselves booked in. It's the 29th and 30th of April. It's going to be a great event. I was at the one at Oxford and Cullen last year. It was amazing. So yeah, don't miss the opportunity to get booked in. It's going to be fully booked very soon.
You can see these prints here. Have you guys checked them out with Steve Irvin? See Michael Leela, I've got to get a frame for that one. I've got an Eric Gunderson one here, and when you're doing it the opposite way around. And there, look, Bruce Pennell. And I have got a nice Gary Avalok one as well that Steve kindly sent to me and Gary. So you should check that out as well. He's on Facebook, Steve Irvin. Hope I pronounced his surname right. But yeah, I've got also here another video. I've got of factory HRC team boss and British motocross legend Roger Harvey. Done me a video, and he's a proper legend. He got me into when I went to the British Grand Prix at Matterley the other year. He got me into 4 times world champion Tim Geiser's truck. Race truck, to do a live interview with him. So here's one from Roger Harvey as well, which is cool.
Hi guys, just wanted to give a shout out to the upcoming Motocross and Speedway Memories Reunion number 3, the 3rd one it is. It's on the 29th and 30th of April down at Whiteway Barton in sunny Devon. Hopefully it'll be sunny by that time. Sounds like it's going to be a right good event, a lot of fun, by the sound of things anyway. Probably I'm a bit too old to be having that much fun, but there you go. What you need to do, you need to get yourselves booked in, because I believe it's filling up fast, and booking in is done through the legend that is Lee Ashby. So get yourself down, have a load of fun, stay safe, and remember, we all started playing on motorbikes because it was good fun, and it still is. All the best, everybody. Bye.
When Roger Harvey calls you a legend, it's like, that's a bit awkward. No legend here. It's all it's like a dream to be speaking to all these legends. Trust. So when I saw him say that, and he had a heart attack when he said that. I'm like, oh my god, I can't even edit it out. I'm no good of anything like that. We got British motocross star here as well, Stephen Clark. He's rode over in America as well. That was cool.
Hey guys, Stephen Clark here, Store 114 Honda. Just want to remind you all of the MX and Speedway Memories Reunion 3 race coming up, 29th and 30th of April at Whiteway Barton. You got to contact Lee Ashby to get yourself booked in. Entries are running low. It's going to be a wicked event. Should be down there myself, coming after chat.
Top man. Also another, he was very well known as well for his, he was a great British Championship rider, rode in the GPs and everything as well, but he was also well famous for getting onto the 4-strokes when they first come on the scene into motocross. And he won something like 7 4-stroke British Championships as well, Mr Perry Lease, because that was really cool. And he's coming down also to ride in the Reunion. Also for you Speedway guys out there, got Bradley Wilson Dean, the New Zealanders, coming down to race and go in the Legends. We've also got 1982 British champion Andy Graham. He'll be down again to race the third reunion on the trot. So it's awesome to get the Grahams down there as well. And there's a quick video from Mr. Perry Leask.
Hi there. I hope you haven't forgotten it's the Motocross and Speedway Memories Reunion 3. We're going to be having loads of fun down at Whiteway Barton on the 29th and 30th of April. We'll have a wobble around, a lot of us old guys, and then you can get out there, show us what it's all about. You need to get your entries in quick. They're starting to run out of space. So get in touch with Lee Ashby, get your entry in, come down and we'll all have some fun. And if you need your suspension looked at, come and have a chat. See ya.
I love this one as well. You've got Max Anstey, races in America now, another British star. This one races for Motocross the Nations, Great Britain. But he's also got a famous father, Mervyn Anstey. A lot of you might know Merv the Swerve, the 80s and 90s in British Motocross, a 500 GP winner, great rider. Yeah, he did a video as well.
Hi guys, this is Mervyn Anstey. We're at Loretta Lynn's qualifier for some of our youngsters, and we're enjoying our time. It's a bit of a wet one today, but you've got a super adventure race coming up at the Legends, running in April. Make sure you get yourself booked in. It's going to be a great time there, and again, look forward to seeing you all soon.
He's out in America because his son rides out there, so that's pretty cool. And also got now as well famous voice on Eurosport. He does all the British Championship commentary and the British Grand Prix. Mr. Roger Warren was cool to get him online.
Hey, Roger Warren here, stepped out from behind the microphone to tell you about a big date coming up, 29th and 30th of April, Whiteway Barton, the Speedway and Motocross Memories Reunion 3. It's going to be a mega weekend with more stars than you can shake a stick at. And there's going to be fun, nostalgia, and of course, even more fun. Make sure you get yourself booked in nice and early with Lee Ashby. Do it early, get yourself down there. Great weekend, 29th, 30th of April, Whiteway Barton.
Brilliant. Also spoke to quite a few Speedway riders. Hopefully they're going to hook me up with a couple. I'm going to obviously speak to Andy and Bradley. Also had some megastar American riders as well. There was Ricky Johnson, Ricky Bad Boys, Mad Dog Johnson, 2 Hip. What an absolute superstar he was in the 80s and into the 90s. Ricky Johnson, he put a post up on his Instagram, which was unreal. That was super cool. And also another American motocross legend, 6-time AMA champion, Motocross the Nation was winner, everything there is to win. Jeff Stanton as well, that posted on his Instagram as well about our Reunion 3. Well, with our group sponsors on there and our 2 title sponsors at the top there, Fathead Racing and DLT Van Conversions. So yeah, that was amazing to see 2 megastars of the 80s and 90s, that absolute superstars. So for them to actually to be able to get to message them and then they help you out is pretty cool, to say the least. Might have wet myself a tiny bit. As you do. Do you know what? I knew it was about money. I was just about to say, is it about being tight or anything? That's what my comment was going to be. And I thought, he says he has no money. Still got his Birmingham money. Oh, that's brilliant. I'm going to have to rib you about that now, Doug. You know what, I was supposed to put the glasses on tonight. I can see it like in severe HD now. A bit late now. Thanks, Mick. Cheers. Thank you very much, buddy. Looking forward to listening. He said it as well. Dougie No Dough. Oh, that was the same one. I saw someone else say it as well, Gary. Someone else said it. Who said it? Who else said it? Can't remember who else said it. Someone else said that no dough as well. So we have to bring that up on Wednesday night. Some of you have to come in and go, no dough, Dougie. Right, much appreciated, everyone. Like I said, I'll be back on tomorrow night, 7 p.m. with British Motocross legend Russ Jarman. That'll be really good. He's a proper character as well, so we'll have a lot of fun with that tomorrow night. And then Wednesday night, I'll definitely confirm it out online, put a load of pictures of Doug, Deg Wire. Put all that online for you to see some cool pictures of him as well. I love the old levers he had with the old tassels and all that on and stuff like that. But I'll definitely confirm on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to go for. So looking at Wednesday, 7 p.m. UK time as well. So we're back on it. Yes, buddy. Thanks for sending me them pictures as well, Frank, with the old levers on. Hopefully you saw Jano's reaction to that. He loved that pictures as well, didn't he? So we've always got that to keep on here now with these recording that'll be recorded, so you can see that anytime and show anyone, or take screenshots of that with your name up on the screen and your and these guys that we all look up to. So it's a cool thing to do with the fans. So really enjoyed that, and I'll put the recordings out. Beautiful. I'm glad you saw it all, Frank. And I'll speak to you all soon. I shall get it all out there, get the recording out there and put it in some of the groups and stuff like that. So if any of you guys share the posts that I put up at the recording of Jano and tag people in it or whatever you want to do, that would be appreciated as well. So get as many fans as we can to see it. It would be cool. It's my old man that is looking with me. My old man. Bless him. He's with me, look, during the interviews. He always said to me as well, I always say this comment, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. I liked it when he started the last couple of years he was with us. He used to say that to me, and we try and do that, eh? So see you all soon. Good night and God bless. Ciao, everyone. Take it easy. Thank you. Thanks for everyone coming on. Cheers.